money in the bank. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Money in the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808.
Usually I take a backseat, yeah. Low key, I tell I'm discreet and don't wanna put my heart on the line too many times. I've been burned, I bounce back quickly, and with the drama tell 'em miss me. Won't ever let it go too far, expose my heart, that's risky. Maybe there's just something about the way you stop and stare. Something in those eyes tell me you care. I'm still learning how to trust. So can we keep this between us? I got a reputation to uphold, so don't reach out your hand for me to hold. Don't rush to tell the world that I'm your girl right now, 'cause I might leave swiftly, just based on my history. Been on to take them flights at different side of trouble. Maybe there's just something about the way you stop and stare. Something in those eyes tell me you care. I'm still learning how to trust. So can we keep this between us? If you choose to stick around, don't say I let you down when I burn it to the ground. Because I'm still learning how to trust. So can we keep this between us?
You're never gonna break me. All the years I've known in my heart, all the fears are falling apart. Oh.
wake up and dance. You know I got to get up and dance. When I'm in the backyard, dance, dance. When I'm in the graveyard, we dance. When I go back to sleep, I dance. In the realm of dreams, I dance. When I'm in the boneyard, dance, dance. When I'm caught off guard, I dance. I got a feeling I can't shake, but I'ma try to shake it anyway. I got a move that I can't break, but I'ma break that thing anyway. Not gonna tell you twice, we're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat, we're gonna move our feet. Not gonna tell you twice, we're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat, whoa. You know I got to wake up and dance. You know I got to get up and dance. When I'm in the backyard, dance, dance. When I'm in the graveyard, we dance. When I go back to sleep, I dance. In the realm of dreams, I dance. When I'm in the boneyard, dance, dance. When I'm caught off guard, I dance. Feet on the ceiling, feeling great. Don't tell your mama we shaking, babe. Break the rules and do your thing. Bring your shoes, yeah, bring your date. Not gonna tell you twice, we're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat, we're gonna move our feet. Not gonna tell you twice, we're gonna dance all night. Not gonna rush the beat, yeah. You know I got to wake up and dance. You know I got to get up and dance. When I'm in the backyard, dance, dance. When I'm in the graveyard, we dance. When I go back to sleep, I dance. In the realm of dreams, I dance. When I'm in the boneyard, dance, dance. When I'm caught off guard, I dance.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Wingman will what want.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Wingman World while wanting a well won't break. ¡Vamos!
틱틱 문을 차고 있던 이건 데자부 이미 와본 걸까 내 성공을 전부 담긴 그릇이 작아 I can't lose 점수 그건 의미 없는 숫자 내 열의 top 10 거는 식당 해골로 채운 옷장 전부 deadlock 상시주의 red dot 경고는 없어 better not 난 사방에 다 뿌린지 마치 red hot
Broken and bruised, what's left to lose here on the edge of forever? I'll never leave, I'll never fight. We all sacrifice, but until the final hour, pain is my superpower. Keep my head up high, run through rain or shine. Cannot sleep without the sour. Pain is
here in Istanbul, ready.
We are looking for our last finalist, G2 Gozen versus Giant X Game Changers, and the opponent in the finals is still Gentle Meats. One best of 5 to determine which team goes up against them. Zobi, I am absolutely hyped, and with that said, welcome back to VALORANT Game Changers EMEA.
Absolutely. We said we would be back to cover the action, and here we are. Maybe third time's the charm for Giant X, or maybe third place is the curse for G2. Only time will tell. But they've had quite the journey to get here, haven't they, Akamask?
They had quite a journey to get to this point, especially like Giant X Game Changers, because it's a team that we did not necessarily expect to be in that position. They won against Twisted Minds, lost against G2, and yesterday, in an absolute banger of a game, won 2-0 against Carmine Corp, something nobody would have expected before that season.
No, absolutely. It's like every single team has like broken down their own records, right? You have ATN. This is their first playoffs as a Doc 100% roster, right? And obviously GX for them, a lot of high level individual placement. But what's really important here early in the season when it's stage 1, right? When there's no direct qualification to GCC on the line, are those championship points. And G2 is no stranger to this. And that's why the pressure for the series is on for them in particular, right? They don't want another 30-point start, right? They got burned by last year having to win out stage 3 if they wanted to go to GCC Seoul. And I think that's why they are maybe so stressed and have so much pressure this time around, Akamask.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on the shoulders of G2 Gozen, because that situation in Istanbul was far from perfect. Yes, they beat out Twisted Minds in the end, right? They were, in the end, in a situation where they qualified through winning, but you don't necessarily want to be in that situation once again. You want to be qualified, like, at the beginning of the year rather than towards the end.
No, absolutely. And we've already kind of touched upon the G2 storyline and why the pressure is there, but let's meet the players that are under that pressure and have been stepping up to the plate, right? It's like the same formula, right? The experienced core that remains, plus a fiery rookie, and year after year, it has success. And honestly, I'm glad that they brought in Enva. It's going to look amazing, but I am still really waiting to see if they get over this stage 1 slump, which has been this recurring problem, right? It's their first boot camp of the year. They didn't even have the full roster there, and I think that's what makes them have such an upscale as the season continues, Akamask.
Yeah, as the season continues, G2 Gozen normally turns into a much better roster towards the entire year. The split 3 peak that they are having is reoccurring in a theme. And for me, one of the standout players we haven't talked too much about is still Amy, right?
Mm-hmm. No, completely. In the first time they faced off against Giant X, her on the chamber, like, she had like over 15 multi-kills across the entire series. She dropped like 50 plus kills over the entire series, like, and while it wasn't as like strong the second time around, that's one of the win conditions I need to see today in particular up against a team like Giant X, because they had so many issues with the operator yesterday from Alkia in that matchup on maps like Bind, and if she gets into form on that chamber, it could be dangerous.
It could be, for sure, but we have a chamber coming up against her, right? We have an experienced chamber player on the other side as well, because Enva is playing for Giant X, a player that you can't count out at any point in time. And Giant X as an overall roster, yesterday was their highlight. For every player in this team, besides Jademore, this is their highest ever placing in Game Changers EMEA. Jademore matches her third place finish with SK Gaming from the last year. But everybody else, they're having their peaks right now at this point, and Jademore talked about it. It's her peak as well. She is one of the best IGLs currently in Game Changers EMEA and shows off so perfectly.
No, absolutely. They have no pressure, and that makes them dangerous. And I think that comes out of their free agent periods as well for a majority of these players, because you were already playing for yourself, right? They don't have that, I guess, negative honeymoon era, we'll call it, where you have the pressure of being signed to an organization, right? They are veterans in the space, despite finally coming together under Giant X after that previous FMCL stint.
Yeah, and we can talk a little bit to Enva about this. We talked about this to Enva before the broadcast, and we can show you a little bit in the small interview segment. Hello everybody and welcome to this interview, because I have the pleasure of sitting down here with Enva from Giant X, talking a little bit about the upcoming best of 5 against G2 Gozen. Welcome Enva, and first of all, congratulations. This has been by far your best run for Game Changers main event. You already secured 3rd place. You're playing a best of 5 against G2 Gozen today. How does it feel reaching those highs with your new team?
I don't know, it was great. Since everyone in my team is hungry for success, it was something I expected. Yeah.
G2 is coming up next in a best of 5. You also talked about it that you really want to play against G2 Gozen because you have never beaten them in your career. How do you prepare for a matchup like this, and does this put a lot more pressure onto you, or are you more excited to go into this game against G2?
Yeah, I'm so excited, but we're not gonna do something special. From the first matches, we're just playing as a team, and we're gonna keep playing as a team. Yeah, that's it.
That's good. Last year, you were still playing a lot of Sentinel. Last year, we were playing a lot of Duelist, if I remember it correctly, and now you switched to the Sentinel role, so something new coming up for you. How does that change your perspective on Valorant and on the game in general?
It was actually hard because since I was entry main, my game style is more aggressive. So right now, when I'm playing Sentinel, I'm trying to play more defensive, more passive, but sometimes it's just so hard. I'm just still trying my best. Yeah.
And I think for the new role, it works out perfectly. As I said, you already reached 3rd place playing G2 today, and we will continue with that matchup. Thank you very much, Enva, for taking the time in the interview, and I'm throwing it back to my future self and Zobi on the desk.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Wow, I mean, you could not tell that was her first time interviewing. I know she said she was nervous, but she absolutely killed it. And I'm glad to see that it's not just Jademaw that has that sentiment, that this team having those shared values would allow them to gel so well so early on and have that mutual trust in each other that I think is allowing them to contest these rosters like KC, like G2, that have had these cores together for now over a year.
And I think Enva is a great connecting piece between all of those players, right? Because she played with 4 out of the 5 players beforehand in the team. And having that connection, having that synergy already established, in some ways at least, connects the entire team together pretty well. And I think Enva is one of the big reasons why this team works so well in the end of the day.
No, absolutely. And I mean, you sprinkle in Jada as well, who Jademaw has sung the praises of, and honestly, even Adora and Akita, right? They said that anybody on this team is capable of being a secondary caller, and I think that kind of shows up in the server as this unpredictability factor. So no matter how much you vote against them, you really don't know what's going to be brought to the table at times.
There are a lot of different things coming up, and I think, especially on defense, we saw this a lot yesterday against Carmine Corp, because we praised Carmine Corp a lot on their bind defense at the start of this one. But Giant X adapted so well, and we are getting a glimpse of that map veto coming up. Split, Corrode, Breeze, Bind, and Pearl. A little bit of spice here, right, Zobi?
Yeah, I mean, it's a full best of 5, right? All corners of the map were going to be exposed, and GX has that luxury, I think, of having played every single map really early into the season. Versus G2, they tested Haven out, they didn't like it, and it's a strong suit for GX, so band it goes back to. And I think it was more the order of these maps that confounded us more than anything. Right? You have G2, if you'd expect maybe to get Breeze over Split to kick things off, but they're lucky to have it at least in the first 3 maps. And you have Giant X, right, who had a really strong bind but opt for Corrode, maybe because they've had better standards up against G2 as a team specifically in it, right? They beat them the first time in the group stage on that map, and as Jademaw said in the interview, they should have beat them in the upper bracket semifinals on that map.
Yeah, and Jademaw said this, right? They should have beaten G2 on Corrode. They should have beaten them on that map. And on the other side, GX is a very good split team. They, especially with Enva on the chamber, showing some great performances on split. And there is a reality where G2 goes down 2-0 at the start of this map, where they not having the best start of all things. And I don't really like that that Breeze pick at number 3, because it opens up a lot for Giant X, and reverse sweeps are always on the table, but still, I would have preferred G2 to play it a little bit more safe, to show Breeze as their first map, establish dominance early on, and not go for sort of that coin toss against Giant X, even though they're a good split team, no questions asked, but like Giant X is as well.
Yeah, no, it's like the overall map pool favors G2 to a certain degree, but the order of maps feels like it can definitely shift momentum in favor of Giant X. But jumping into the agent comps and discussing those in particular, you can see why G2's picked it, right? I feel like aside, I mean, they have a 100% win rate on it, right? And I think a play that I'm going to be looking at is this Mimi Breach. Like, not a lot of people are running it. It's been this comfort pick for her, but we've seen kind of her individuality and her individual performance waver on this agent, right? Like, we obviously saw her Waylay debut, we've seen her Yoru, and those are very self-sufficient, and we've seen her again frag out, and I'm wondering if we're going to have that again today.
And that's the G2 spirit, right? They're a family rather than a team, and trying to cheer themselves up. JT towering over everyone else is a little bit funny. But we're going into the server. Giant X vs G2 goes on. A spot in the upper bracket final. A spot in the grand final on the line here in a best of 5. All maps. Everything will be tested today in the long run. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep. We will see who gets that early lead. Who pulls ahead. G2, aside from obviously aiming position likely for that toxic screen, it feels very direct. It feels very focused around this A space. And you highlighted Enva pretty early on, and it is definitely going to be her front and the center, right? Unless they go for a hefty mid-tick right off the gate. But I think G2 want to start out correctly here, because you look at that stat line, right? It's GX 3-1 as an organization, right? Not the same roster, but they've been cursed time and time again with these 3-1s. And we're basically following the same script as last year. So let's see if G2 has submitted a rewrite.
Script should be flipped here right now for G2 goes, and they're going for a very aggressive start over onto that A side. Nobody there to hold it. Enva, late peek, trying to fight it. Spike still in main. G2 has to fight the Rams players because Mimi is split off from the entire team and still doesn't find an angle to get into this one. G2 might have overplayed their hand here. Vanya finds an important frag onto Jada. Same goes for Amy. Numbers advantage established for G2, and they're getting the spike onto the spot now.
Spike planted.
Fairly quickly rotate and retake by Giant X coming up.
I like the Vanya screen's position. I like the ramps take from Giant X just so they can finish the job.
Eva baits a little bit for that closed angle, for that high risk position that Amy is taking in, but she gets checked. Amy finds a double headshot, and Vantadora both on the ground. Vanya takes that last one. Full house between both of those smoke players for G2 Gozen, and they're going up 1-0 after what looked like a shaky start to that round.
You know, I think the decision there, the call to stop fighting for ramps and instead get onto the site, get the spike down, and just frame these crossfires was everything, right? As soon as Amy's position is revealed, you have the flashpoint come out from the breach from Mimi, and that sets her up to survive and find two. And then you have Vani, who took deep screens as well, get back to the team fight. So again, just very fluid there on the pistol when it's back to basics. And speaking of basics, it's an eco. What do? You gamble, stack a site, and Giant X, given the success G2 just had, decided upon A, and aside from the Amy lurk, unfortunately, they have not chosen correctly.
Gambled wrong. Wrong 50-50s happen. It's still Amy. Slowly creeping up to this one. Might have a big surprise here! Good morning! Spots everyone from Giant X. Amy falls down, but it's just a ghost falling onto the ground, and G2 goes and will execute into the B side immediately.
Yeah, they took the risk of not popping their own toxic screen and instead relying on the enemies, and it comes down, and so do you. But you mentioned it, yep, B side deserted. Safe plant, safe post-plant positions. It's gonna be hard to break through.
Well, Jetmo has an interesting position there. Might get a close ranged angle fight against Eva. She doesn't spot that corner. But quicker on the trigger. Jetmo doesn't get that kill, doesn't convert it. Aggressive fight by Akita. I don't really like this one. Only a trade. Number still in a doable position. Vanya out from the heavens makes all three. Just spray them down. G2. Second round taken away from Giant X, and it goes fairly good numbers-wise for G2. 3 guns make it into the next one.
Yeah, I mean, you think about what would have been if Jademaw won that engagement up against Enva, right? Then you have the split attention from main while the flood from heaven is coming out. So Nvani would have to be head on a swivel, but we are going to have a very, very short tech pause. I mean, we're coming into an important round where we need Giant X to get on the board with these rifles in hand, obviously. And again, looking at that round, I'm not seeing anything bad at a Giant X just yet, right? They're very grouped. They're taking, again, the timings together. It was, again, if you lose the pistol, the next round is likely to snowball. So I was getting to the meat and potatoes of things. I think it is going to be close still here, Akamosk. What have you made of the first 2 rounds?
I think I really like that Giant X is trying to get early into those fights, trying to separate G2 and split their executes, because Mimi on the breach has to be a little bit more backwards, has to play behind her team, and Giant X is trying to find those corners, trying to find those angles where Mimi is cut off from the team to separate this 4 split and this 1 player, where you can maybe take out the spike, maybe can take out the initiator, and if a breach falls early into the game without using the entire utility, you have some problems on your hands.
No, absolutely. But we promised it would be short, and here we go, getting ready to jump into that 3rd round. And G2 sticking with the B site. The ping's ready to challenge this B main space, but the reposition from Enva, who was previously playing A ramps, could define this opener.
No sniper just yet. Just a Vandal in hand. Trying to wait for some contact immediately. Headshots Akita away. First frag goes down to Enva, trying to find a second one, but Amy quicker on the trigger. Has a big gunner in her hands as well. Bird doesn't find the target, Giant X. They're still trying to slow this one a little bit down, cancelling their own noise. Drop on the side, Adora. Great paranoia. Anita gets a double there for her as well from the heavens down, but Amy does the same thing for her likes. Jada and Jademaw. All on themselves now.
Here.
Wow. And we need a regroup here. Giant X divided, Jademaw going again for the backstab. You can see G2 just hold, wait. Maybe even decide to refight. When you have 45 seconds left, you have so much. The world's your oyster in terms of where to explore, where to position.
That's a big question, Mimi. Trying to get that spike down.
One enemy
Doesn't really get from the heavens. Finds a nice frag. Jademaw, unknown. Goes unnoticed. Behind that pillar, you know where Amy is right now.
It's planned for her, though.
Things have been clear. Orb is going down. Jademaw able to move away. The spike is ticking down. You need to hurry. You need to be fast on this one.
Poison orb emitting.
Amy
Such a difficult position.
Plays it so far back. The swing and the hard shot. 4 kills for Amy. A 3rd round for G2. Establishing dominance on the attack early on.
And I said Amy was going to be a problem on the Chamber, but now she's a problem on the Viper. That played so well. And Jademaw thought she was inside Amy's head, right? You mentioned them being prior teammates from so long ago, expecting the Heaven Wrap, but instead by cycling this orb and even blocking your invisibility in CT, like, you deter Jademaw from just fighting up, right? When time is so low, like you mentioned. But I mean, the setup on that site was gorgeous as well, right? They completely shut down Enva with that paranoia breach util combination. And then when they actually got onto the site, the players, her GX were fairly split. So now you're on Nico. Gotta change something up in the pacing department, and that pacing is going to be exploring mid. Mimi alone. For the time being, a headhunter opening would be golden.
I like what they're trying to set up. Enva splitting the map. Not hearing any steps. Here's the spike drop, Enva! Headshot against Mimi. Breach on the ground. Setups this round for success. Parasite, but no weapon recoverable.
Okay, Trailblazer spots out Amy, but Spike was heard over towards Ramen, so they're gonna stay stacked towards this site, and Enva takes another over towards B main. So I'm quite worried at how spread out G2 goes and now looks on the eye test.
Still no real decision. Mania's trying to spray for a smoke, and now there's a weapon in range for Giant X.
And Jademaw's going over to heal as well. So I'm expecting Enva in the form she's in right now to keep it, but the pressure's mounting out of heaven.
Gonna fall back here.
And Akita just pushing for that molly. Finds that frag. Akita gets Anita out of position. A dash onto the side, a double kill, a double entry. Makes this one much more doable for G2. Amy frags herself in as well. The numbers advantage Not coming into fruition. Adora, you have a shotgun, not the best weapon for this one, but Amy falls down anyways.
remaining.
On the pistols, Jadema, a back and forth onto this entire round. G2 can't establish that dominance. Can't push the dominance further. No, you heard the shotgun. You know where the player is. And Vanya needs to be fast on this. Adora has it. It's an upset on the flawless Adora. And Enva with heroics to bring this one back.
Wow, fully nearsighted and still getting the Bucky kill to secure the Thrifty for Giant X. And I mean, Enva with the opening kills on the Hunter Golden. And I think G2 had a chance because of the speed in which they reflooded out of B Heaven, right? Before we could have that Jadema regroup to get Enva back up to full HP. But it was this duo in a perfect coordination there on that retake. And the lucky classic shots as well from Adora that allowed that round to come through. Now, coming into the next, kind of a fake out setup, right? Giant X had immense information super early into the round. So what are you going to do? Fake the Akita entry off the waylay, play a little bit deeper towards this B site until maybe that guiding lane, until maybe that chamber rendezvous comes through. But we have an operator online, and I don't know about this from G2.
How did the problem miss this one? Enva getting through. Jada has a double kill as well. Some problems here for G2 establishing control early on in the round. Anita has one for her as well. Mid is not an option. A double for Anita there. Flawless round for Giant X, and I'm still a little bit confused.
I am
in
too.
how Enva get through that brawler in main.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they wanted to full sell. Then they had this setup for a really nice A fake and NB. But instead, they showed the presence early B. They wanted instead the deep anchors on A, it looked like, to rotate back into. So when Jada got those 2 kills after, I mean, the sacrifice towards B was worth it when you see that many players on the deep line from Enva. It just all fell apart. The timings in complete desynchrony. And now, I mean, they're just trying to simplify things. G2 want to get the ball rolling again.
I want to make this one a little bit faster. Vanya potting into the small gap, quick execute, Akita into heaven. Spots a lot of players, but Vanya is behind them. Enva and Anita. Important frags for them. A second one, Anita. The wall that Giant X is needing right now. Her and Enva holding down the heavens. Great swing out of Adora. And an equalizer. Giant X is coming back. The momentum swing we talked about. The momentum team that Giant X is coming into fruition right now.
Absolutely, and while that was an eco, the G2 set play was nice. The from the shadows, the light speed into heaven so they could crunch onto that player. But we see, yeah, Anita handle that with grace. Just hard anchoring, hard fighting, and they just completely shut them out. And that's exactly what you need to deny a lot of these G2 eco, these creative strategies. And this is going to be a big round. Ults on both sides, the lead up for grabs. And honestly, I think G2 have more to lose. They lose this, they're back to a save.
And it's an important round for G2. A huge swing round coming up for the entire half because you're down onto a 5-3 there. And Giant X can then, from there, just snowball on with ultimates, with their general economy. I think Adora should throw that showstopper in here.
This is G2's pick as well. So definitely not how you want to start off this best of 5. But we've got to get past this round first, and the pit is being disrespected, Akamask.
And Akita just runs over Anita. They're stopping this pit in the middle. Giant X tried to split the map with this one into 2 pieces, but G2 doesn't let that slip. Immediately finds the Viper.
Ooh, and they're gonna leave Akita deposited here, right? The trademark will have Adora's back with the regroup. The noise and water can set Adora and this showstopper up for perfect success here in main.
Yeah, good stop the party for G2. Immediately Adora flies in. A first one for her, but Mimi up for the trade. They need to get past Enva now. Jump spot. Might get her out of position. Might get her a little bit uncomfortable. Trademark triggered.
Seconds left.
Paranoia baits out the teleport. Akita up into heavens. Already a great position, but Jada on the side. Not to be disrespected. Enva has the second one. You heard that drop. Jada makes it possible. Brings it into the pockets of Giant X more and more. And in the end, it's Jade more on the lurk. 4 and 3. Swing round 1. Giant X running away.
And that is the third time we've seen Jademaw behind a G2 for varying levels of success. As we get another quick type pause here, I think there's a lot to break down in that round, so it is the perfect time. It's like a matter of what ifs, right? The opening was great, and I can't help but wonder if they silent rotated to A instead of running through water, how differently that round would have gone, right? They get past Enva, they circumvent and trade the showstopper, but it was Jada having enough time to reposition on that A site, so they had layers of these anchors. That's what made the difference. And if they didn't have that early warning system that G2 basically handed over, I think that round could have gone a lot differently for Giant X.
Yeah, it could have been a round that goes both ways, right? But Giant X was so decisive in what they were trying to do there, entering with Adora, trying to force a fight out there and trying to get confirmation that everyone of G2 is there. And then that double hold from Jada and Enva on that side destroyed everything G2 were trying to set up. Like, they were losing a lot of their utility early on in that round. Mimi has to commit the ultimate onto the side, but Enva holds long enough that Jada has the impact that she needs to have right there.
You know, I'm really liking how the Chambers allowing them to set up these fights, whether it's because you're scared of the op line or whether the trademark is holding that mid control, right? We saw Akita a little bit delayed on regrouping there with the team, which also could have helped maybe address that site hold itself. And I'm liking the confidence as well, right? We've said this time and time again, and Jademaw says that she doesn't care who's on the other side of the server. Names mean nothing. And we saw Adora play with that same exact mentality. And I love this as well, right? Like, mentioning they don't care who's on the other side of the server. Giant X, they have a hit list, and they are marking names off left to right and a center, eliminating like every single team they lost to except for G2 and Gentlemates from the group stage.
Yeah, it seems like Giant X is the Pike of Game Changers right now, just crossing off names one by one, trying to eliminate those teams who wronged them in the group stages. And Giant X are making a great job here of G2 on that defense.
All right, another eco. They invested the big ultimate in the Rolling Thunder, so you're gonna look towards that. You're gonna look towards Akita, maybe if they do want to put all into this eco attempt. And Jada, I like the respect that's shown.
Yeah, just getting away onto this one. They still have Enva's ultimate. They still have Enva's ultimate. If something goes wrong on this one, if sometimes the economy starts to struggle a little bit, so some more safety that Giant X is getting off here.
Enva totally spotted Vanya there, right? Right? The Paranoia latest, all the Seekers are doing this one. Jada has two quick frags out of this. Adora jumps onto Vanya as well. The Paranoia on an awkward timing, but Adora has the back of her teammate Amy all on her own in main. Stuck with a Sheriff, too much for her to handle. Nothing she can do about this. The view is coming through. Another round for Giant X. Nice shot out of Amy. But in the end, you're falling anyways to the hands of Jada. A triple kill and round number 5 for Giant X. Wow, and there was that moment of indecision of where to fight as a team, right? You had Akita with the only stinger in hand, wanting to fight into heaven. I mean, first off, Enva was prepared with a shorty, but it was that then regroup into CT off the Nightfall that came late, right? They were already hitting the Seekers, they were already flashing out of heaven, and that entire just interruption threw off what could have been a really nice eco out of G2. And we mentioned again the purgatory that they're stuck in, the buy, the save, and how GX was inevitably going to get to this 5-3 point. And now you really, really want to course correct, right? You still have a few of these nice ultimates in terms of the convergent paths, but you've burned 2 of the other big ultimates without round conversions. So to be honest, at this point, like, yeah, there's some glaring issues in terms of timing and ideas, execution out of the really deep strat pick from G2, but I do really just want a one-time swift idea out of JT and DrewSpark to kickstart this system.
And they had those quick ideas onto in earlier matchups against Giant X, right? We talked about it. They played during this week against them, 2-0'd the same team. But is Giant X really the same after their win against Carmine Corp, or are they changed mentally?
I need to ask them if they win this series, like how they're able to beat all these teams that they lost to previously. It's definitely insane, but got to get this job done first. They've got to continue and ante what G2 just came up with during that timeout.
We need to find answers to the calls of JT and DrewSpark.
Hey, Enva, you've been in the same spot G2's gone, and round after round. Can you get another opening? No, flushed out.
Akita is at the very opening that you're talking about, Enva. Just holding the line, waiting for G2 to execute, but Jademaw has another frag for her as well. Enva, aggressive peek. trying to force her way into the utility, trying to surprise G2. Doesn't get anything done in the end. Jada, are you ready for the task? Do you have the power to handle the situation? Akita is just springing into this one, but a quick flick out of Jada. Mimi on a trade. It's going back and forth, but in the end, 1 versus 2 for Jademore. Going up the ladders. Going up heaven. Both players on the side, she should know.
And that reposition was so smart. They knew they were going to 3-2-1 double swing you from main and pillar. So this allows her to isolate the fights, but even a 1v1 is not one she might win. Eva getting that ever important round on the board for G2 goes, and that's the second time we've seen Akita able to overwhelm, right, Anita and this mid hold, right? They did it back with the Viper's Pit online as well. And last time it was this slow pause and re-rotate that threw things amiss. So here I liked that they stuck to their guns, followed through on the site execution, and I mean, there was also some mistakes from GX, like that bold challenge from Enva, versus we've seen Jada just fall back, respect, and play a retake with the team. So that could be something maybe called as like, okay, maybe we don't try that again.
Yeah, maybe we should change something about our mid hold. They're bringing Adora there and trying to get Enva a little bit more of an aggressive timing. Trying to bring the AWP into a position, and the headshot finds that entry. No aggressive fight from Anita towards middle. Spotted the waylay once again. Akita trying to hunt down Adora, but no kill for her. And now she's stuck in enemy territory.
And there's that change. Not just Adora, but then giving up the space without giving up the first blood.
Putting it a little bit more passively. Trying to give G2 the space and the time to rethink what they're trying to do, but establishing holds over on the side of Giant X. A quick execution out of Akita. Behind her ultimate. Jademore up there for a trade. Mimi down, which makes this one a lot more difficult for G2, but Akita still on a tear. Still up to the task to take that B spot for her team. Timing needed out of Adora. Fight to kill. Doesn't get the second one. Enva, have you got it? Have you got the timing? Have you got the shots? Misses onto Eva.
Oh, she's going for this.
Picks up a Vandal. They have more than enough money. She should. Picks up a Vandal. Repositions. Up onto the rafters.
They're gonna hear the drop. Paranoia still online for Vanya as well.
Jump spotted her. Paranoia takes off the timer. And you need to be fast now. Spike's already ticking low. Both of them holding it. Vanya! Quicker on the trigger, and the back and forth goes on and on and on and on. It's rounds after rounds, and always a follow-up from those teams. G2 gets the second run in a row, even though Enva started this one off perfectly.
All right, and so we have a solution to this mid-hold. Obviously, I think the convergent paths and Akita's sheer aggression with that utility was a major disruption. Now I just need to see this B side addressed, and that's exactly where the timeout comes in for Giant X. And I think this is where we're gonna see that hard work that Jademore has mentioned. We've got to see some of that creativity shine through as well. Show us why Reyes is still in your agent pool, right? in this current meta, for example. And I'm expecting either, again, to put Enva a little bit deeper into B main, if she's not super oppressed, because now Jada's even getting crunched. Or even, honestly, can I see a mid-fight? Send Adora down, right?
Give them a little bit more space. And we talked about Giant X coming here to that lower bracket final, something nobody expected. And many people are quick to call this one a miracle run or like some sort of fairy tale. But Jademore yesterday went hard on this one, told us nobody's working like us. Our work ethic is the peak of Game Changers EMEA, and that's why we are here, and that's why we deserve this.
Peak hard work or boot camping, which one will prevail? But for now, we are putting Enva back on mid. So again, they want to keep that mid space. Nice rendezvous tucked away. But another thing that stood out was G2. Their 2v1 conversions right now are really clean. I don't know what's higher, that or the eco denials from Giant X, but keeping it simple, seeing what the lay of the land is like. They're just sending it in A, but a corner's not cleared. Akamaskador has the showstopper online.
They're not checking the corner, but do they know? Do they know where Vanya is? Adora behind them, fighting into enemy lines. Frag onto Mimi, the showstopper doesn't get a kill, but the Vandal does in the end. Vanya's still on site, still behind them, is creeping up. Bullet in the back of the head. Giant X is trying to retake their space, but a little bit of a speed cut going down by G2. Quick flick out of Enva. Quick kill onto the side, and the Viper's Pit's going down as well.
I was gonna say, after all that chaos, we still had a 3v3, but a beautiful kill again, punishing individual over peak before a plan is set in stone.
Still have a paranoia. If you're Jada, 19 HP onto Amy. Did Viper's Pit has some risk to it. Has some options for Giant X to play around. Enva goes in. Enva needs to find that Viper. Here's the drop. A double swing needed. Gets the first one. Amy has both! Round number 6, G2 is coming back. You never can count them out. Even on a map like Split, where they play against a team that are great on it.
Honestly, small mistakes, these cracks that G2 are starting to exploit. Again, the openers are clean. It's these regroups in the late round that are taxing Giant X time and time again. And you saw it right there, Akabash. That was something you found. Was 258 days since a playoffs loss before that upper bracket one?
No, their last loss was in Split 2. 25. Quick paranoia. Jada needs support out of there, but Enva has the support. Finds Akita. Split off by the team. And immediately executed by Enva.
Yeah, money was sour coming into this round, so perfect supplement there from the Tour de Force. They didn't say weapons, they just went in. And speaking of going in, G2, they're up mid yet again, and Anita has survived again this time around. No trademark invent because Enva's fully committed to B. So I'm curious to see how strong Jademwa is in this position instead.
And look at the Brawler there sending down B. Trill is still trying to send this one off as a fake. But Jademwa goes up ramp, knows everything now. Hears all of the sounds, all of the steps from G2 Gozen. No frag from her. This one hurts.
They're so thorough, right? Even now clearing out main or attempting to do so, Adora holds on. No response yet from G2. They're wary from the shadows, and this is the crunches that they've been setting up and executing, Akamask.
Yeah, but Vanya finds Adora. Gets the person that they are pinching against.
30 seconds left.
But no, G2 needs to get on the spot. Enva slow into this one. Still has the saying here. Ever all on her own. The new player for G2 needs to be up clutch in the playoffs in such an important game for the Orc.
One enemy remaining.
But Enva falls down. Enva pickles down the 1v2. Too much to handle for Ever in the end. And we're going to halftime at 6-on-6.
Switching sides. Spike down A. One. Last player standing.
A 6-6-1/2, and no surprise when we've mentioned again the stakes for both of these teams coming in to this lower finals. We would have it no other way, and we saw huge growth through the timeouts that we saw in the first half. So they're adjusting to each other. Again, this is the team that's faced off against each other twice now in this stage alone. With the side swap, Akamask, and the confidence we've seen from GX, I do feel like the attack could be better.
Can change a little bit, even though that comp tends to be a little bit more defensive centric, especially with the chamber. You need to play a little bit more of a slower Valorant approach. And Giant X, they're playing very far behind right now, and giving G2 the space to explore, giving G2 the place to find some of the other players. Vanya and Akita, do you spot Jada? They do! Akita finds the first kill!
That's all they want. They actually give up the spike, which was unknowingly tucked away in Ramen. In the meantime, though, they've expanded their web elsewhere for Giant X. Look at Adora already into vents, right? No trademark for the G2 side to rely upon. Just jump peeks from Eva.
But they are aware. They're looking over towards that vents position. They know that mid has been abandoned by them. And was charging up. Adora has a timing there, but immediately the stun comes off from Minimi. Rotations in. G2 might be quicker on the position, on the reposition over to their A side. Still no spike on the spot. Has been dropped by Jademore. Adora from the heavens at least gets one in trade. But still not the most favorable position for them. The defense for G2 seems so good. Adora on the trade. Enva all on her own. Finds the ghost, at least some upgrades. 3 bullets in the headhunter. Needs to find 3 kills left there as well. Akita. Position known. Knows where Enva is. Knows she charges up ramps. Mimi on a 1v1. Gets the kill, but Akita quick on her support. 6-7 for G2 Gozen.
And G2 taking both pistol rounds on this map. Again, we even saw them convert that 3rd round bonus, so they know what it means to have momentum. And Jada, that is just so unfortunate. She had the recognition that this deep kind of weird omen smoke could provide that sort of aggro play. And I mean, it's an omen, it's a waylay. Those permit those styles, but we'll see if they keep getting tricked by that sort of mischief. I mean, this is a map that they have not experienced G2 on, but all in all, Giant X, it's an eco. What do you do? See if you can make a stick, and that's a nice chip onto Eva.
And they're finding the weak side, right? Currently, Giant X exactly where they want to be. Targeting Akita and Eva, but Akita will go aggressive. There's a crossfire set up. A lot of surprises waiting for her main. Overstep from Akita. A little bit too far forward.
I mean, the bait and switch is good. The site plant spike going down. Aftershock too late. This is clean, and there was no punishment out of Eva in screens either.
Scout destroyed.
Jademon spots 3 people. They know where G2 is positioned. They know where they're coming from. But are they ready for it? Are they ready for the bigger weapons? 4 people trying to flood over there into heaven. Waiting for Amy to make that misstep. Adora spots her. But it's a 1v1. Amy gets those duels. Gets those 1v1s, but no kills coming through. Jademore on the spot. Doing God's work. But has to be perfect. Has to close this one up. Weapons on the ground for G2 Gozen, but the round goes for them anyways.
It's battle, it's bloody, it's under 3 seconds on the defuse. The regroup and refight there on the A side was so nice into heaven from Giant X. I just wish Jademore had a way to support them in that engagement so that Amy wasn't able to absolutely farm with this Spectre. And I mean, if they shot her down a little bit earlier, Spike was planted for them. Only the complication would have been that Spike smoke, but this is the round where the pressure's on for Giant X, right? They lost their previous 3rd round conversion, so what do? Put out all the stops. Look at this, an operator already online for Enva in the 3rd. They don't want to just win this round, they want to snowball it themselves.
You can't invest much more in that round. And no tracking from the guiding light. Nobody blinded. They don't know how aggressive G2 is positioned up there. Vanya spots the op. Jig is up, Enva needs to retreat. Gets her teleport away as well. Amy. Close position on that Bucky.
Be dangerous. Obviously, we still have 1 flash for Jademore, but no Trailblazer to confirm the weapon that's holding this space. Mimi. Well, Aftershock was invested early. Fault lane ready as soon as contact's made around mid.
I like how defensive she is positioned right now. Trying to really get the most out of that fault line, Jademore. Not quite confident enough to go into heaven. And a reset for Giant X.
Spike dropped.
Ooh. Mimi's baiting so hard for Amy here.
Yeah.
Shadows traveling.
But Giant X doesn't fall for that bait right now.
It's gonna work. No way.
No, right? That can't happen. You can't bait this much.
Down B.
But it works out. Jada falls on the ground. Jademore on the quick swing. Finds a trade. Mimi has a right click. Has another kill. Numbers are going. Even Vanya in the smoke. They're on so little weapons. Vanya Had the perfect timing, but decides to pour it out. 12 seconds on the
10
clock.
seconds left.
But Giant X are getting it done. Getting the spike down. Enva from main. Another kill. Eva all on her own. 1 versus 3. Take out more of the eco for Giant X, but she's trying to save that weapon. Trying to bring that bundle to the next round.
She wants to damage first, right? They'll be able to buy. Especially if she can drop. Yup. But yeah, this is Enva we're talking about. I mean, that round was so dicey because of these close range engagements, right? I mean, right-click RNG from Mimi. The Bucky bait was perfect here, even if eventually traded by that Guiding Light. And honestly, if Vanya got away with this murder onto Enva, I don't know if there would have been enough time safely to get that spike down. So, again, danger avoided this time around, but it is costly. Put another light shield on the board here for Enva, and in the meantime, some regen shields because of the Bucky buy on the G2 side, so there's a world. We get GX stabilizing, tying us up 8-8.
Here. Region
Scout
feels
destroyed.
always fine, in my opinion.
Ow.
Amy finds that first kill through that smoke. Akita swings back there again. 2 quick kills on G2.
That's the second bait that's been successful, right? That one a little bit more predictable when you're destroying the dog that adamantly out of Amy, but I mean, for a shot through the smoke to then Akita realizing that it could have been predictable, so scaling up instead. And I mean, the fact that nobody gets punished either, no trades come through, is aghast for Giant X. I mean, I'm glad to see they've at least preoccupied and cleared out that mid space, but some hero has to emerge if they actually want to flip the numbers this round with less than a minute left.
And G2 knows exactly where they're giving up space and where they're taking space on their other side, right? They are precise in their movement over the map. The middle has been taken away by Giant X, but G2 is absolutely fine with this one.
Hitting the brakes.
Spots the player into heaven and know that the execute has to happen there. Anita,
30 seconds
can
left.
you find something? Can you get that kill? Do you spot Vanya? Has been getting out of the situation. Mimi finds the
down,
spike.
B.
Nothing else to be taken advantage of. This has been a little bit better for Giant X than we expected, maybe.
Has to still finish off the 2v3. The regroup good as well out of G2. 3 players ready in alley.
Last player standing.
But yo, still up for Enva, gets one. But that's all she gets. Round number 9, G2 on that defensive half. They're not making this one funny. They're not trying to have any struggles here. They want to take away that map pick. They want to bring it home.
Absolutely, and I think they made a decision not to pick up the operator here as well, but the opening fight was clean. The util coordination here to deny the flood out of B Heaven clean. They're stopping the Giant X momentum that they like to build. Because Giant X in these posts with Enva on the op are dangerous, and this is the first time where it really worked against them because you couldn't get that clutch through in the close range. And timeout coming through, and there is, I feel like, players that I do want to see more out of, right? We look at Jada, who was so impressive in that Carmine Core matchup yesterday. And curious to know if it's role-wise as well, right? You have Anita, too. It was super impressive on that Yoder, for example, when we get to Bind and Breeze later on. Maybe she'll get that revitalization factor after getting bullied over on that defensive hold towards mid. So we haven't seen her with a successful lurk either because of how fast Giant X are setting the pace. So that could be the call here as well, right? Slow down just a little bit. Wait out some of these early trap plays, right? I don't think we've not seen one from G2, right? We had the B main one, we had that mid one.
Yeah, G2 is always trying to get some pressure in. Always trying to take a little bit of space away from Giant X.
And that's their last time out as well. So we are going to half buy rounds, so I'm expecting to see the tour de force from Enva to complement this Bulldog and this Guardian. But after this, that's when we really need to see the return, when it is that full buy. And here it comes.
Yeah, to the force up and running immediately, but the Viper Spit to counter any mid aggression. Like Giant X, that's a no-no zone for you right now.
Okay.
I got the spike.
Jade Maw. Spike recovered, regroup towards B. I like the high-low that G2 has set up on this site. They're definitely playing very light towards the A space. Confident they can retake it with Mimi's Rolling Thunder. So to me, it's just a matter of, okay, are they going to over-invest that resource early off this contact in B main or not?
That's a big question. Akita not spotted by the flash. A little bit of counter aggression. G2 is trying to set up there. 2 versus 2. Immediately a fourth line has been taken, but Akita shot down out of a stun from Jada.
Ooh.
That's a wild setup, but a trade from Vanya at least to soft the blow for G2.
Yeah, finally we get Giant X getting out of that, at least with a 1-for-1, right? Talked about previously, G2 would get unpunished, unscathed. This is a nice call, nice identification that the A side is weaker, right? When you bolster the mid with a pit, when you have the breach stack towards B and that trap play off of Vanya, it's gonna be Eva.
Sleep.
Finds the kill, finds the contact, finds the frag spot. Only one for attacking. Adora on a refrag. Charging that showstopper, and suddenly that round seems much more doable for Giant X. Vanya is low, 30 HP. Rolling Thunder available for G2, yes, but still some counter ultimates that they might be using. Showstopper immediately taken by Adora. Tries to bring the fight to G2, gets the kill onto Vanya. A lot of damage, an important one, and that's Adora! Double spray down! G2 doesn't get through elbow! Giant X has round number 8 on the back of the duelist.
Wow. And honestly, that's not even out of the timeout. That's just out of Adora waking up. I mean, at least they got the trade here on the opener. That's maybe a switch up, but I thought Enva was going to be the one to save this round, right? Tour de Force unaffected by the Rolling Thunder up in heaven, but Adora, you mentioned the counter from the ult. I'm surprised they didn't wait it out there. They've still pushed in through that tight choke and got punished for it. And Phantom that was recovered, just enough HP to get the job done off that perfect paranoia from Jada. So now, G2, after the rounds they found to open this half, reduced to an eco, is not where you need to be.
Adora has a contact there, but Amy finds that kill. No weapon to be recovered. And that's why Jada is throwing it off the map, trying to at least not giving G2 the edge there and quick A execute. Other Giant X, even though there's a numbers advantage for G2.
Do you use the Nightfall here is the question now for G2, or do you just see if you can get in off sheer util?
Flash coming through, setting up Akita. They know where she is. Needs to be somewhere on site. Jade Mo spots her out. Numbers even once again. Eva, do you invest at Nightfall? That's the big question. It doesn't seem like it. And everyone is going for elbow. Once again, a double load of Amy. Makes this one much more doable. Now you obviously invest at Nightfall. Make this round in a very doable spot for G2. Vanya just jumping over there. Quad kill for Amy. Enva has to be the hero. Has to save this one. Vanya on 1 HP. But she knows that there are hits on it. Vanya, the savior for G2. She and Amy bringing it down double digits for Gozen.
Back-to-back thrifties out of Giant X, then G2 answering in kind. And I've got to see that moment where the tides turn, right? I mean, it already sucks to lose Adora. That's so much of your delay utility, but it was that refloat off the Vanya sight smoke into elbow that really, again, closed the distance. And we've seen G2 excel in these close range endeavors time and time again, whether now it's on backside A or B side heaven, it does not matter. And that's the difference maker. GX needs to avoid getting put in those sort of situations. And fortunately, and they've just yet to break this back and forth cyclic spell.
Scout destroyed.
Yet to win out against this one. They've yet to find a follow-up round, both teams. But G2 in a more comfortable spot, 2 rounds in the lead. Giant X, much more pressure on them right now. Even though it's G2's map pick, Anita's spotted. They're trying to force her. They're trying to fight her out of this one. Eva gets the kill in the end. Seekers have been used by Giant X, making this one quick. Trying to force their way onto the B side, but Akita stops them on the ultimate. Blood out of vent, a nade that has been perfectly set up. Adora has been great for the entirety of that map. Jade more there as well, but a double for Akita. Brings it more and more into the pockets of G2. A whiff out of Enva makes it even harder. She could be in a 1v2 situation, but the AWP betrays her.
Look at the respect G2 showing. Getting as far away as possible, knowing Spike is in Akita's hands over towards Mail. And Akita this round gifted, right? GX knows that G2's like to fight heavy commit reclears on this half, and they waited for it, but it still wasn't enough. The pinch too strong to escape. And I was going to say, with the money, I do think they can irk out another buy to keep G2 off of match point. So if Enva can save the op here, that would be huge.
Bringing the op into the next round at least. Giant X has something to work with, and there is the follow-up round we talked about. G2 is stabilizing their economy, stabilizing the snowball that they were trying to set up, and I think they're more than happy to give the op over to the enemy team if that means not losing any more weapons, stabilizing what you have been building instead of destroying what the enemies are doing.
Spike down mid.
Yeah, honestly, I think the strongest look from Giant X have been those more direct A hits, right? The posts have been clean, minus the one mistake where they flooded in through elbow and got the thrifty round. So that's kind of what I want to see. I do like them going back to disrespecting the mid space. They've gotten it fairly easy, whether that's G2 giving it up or having these set traps, but it's a similar look here. Again, right? Maybe we'll see Akita go into vent this time around out of ramps, but otherwise, deposits already made for Giant X.
This one's do or die. Enva needs to find some more consistency on the op right now. Doesn't find those impact tracks.
Okay, Amy, safe position simply for info. Again, when you're playing this disconnected mid-hold, I like the regroup from Yumi towards A. It's the correct call, given what we're seeing at a Giant X, to try and crunch into this A site.
They're trying to set up Enva. They're trying to get her in a position where she can succeed on that op.
Teleport's ready.
So difficult though, right? If you make contact there on vent, that's on the rope. So Adora would be decayed, likely obliterated by Akita. So I do like this call to regroup, reevaluate, and head back towards B Heaven.
And that's the one player that is okay to be tagged by the Prowler because she can port out Amy. Impact frag. Spike has been dropped onto Mail. Picked up by Akita, but they know where they're heading right now. I think they're aware of that advanced play. Enva needs to be spotted out as well. You need to be aware on that pinch play. Main is still an area that belongs to Giant X.
Just 15 seconds though.
Time's running low. Drop on the side. Akita needs to be spotted out of that area. A triple out of Akita. Holding the side down. G2 is on map point. By doing this one flawlessly.
Wow. And no more timeouts to stop the momentum out of Giant X. A catastrophic mistake after an otherwise beautiful mid-round there. The push and pull from G2, so clean. And Adora, I thought she was going to have the timing there. Out of ropes, shut down Akita, but the reposition again, where G2 has her drop down, where they trust in Mimi and the cycling of her utility. Very, very well done. And 4 rounds now needed from Giant X to go to overtime. They found that similar streak of 5 in the first half. 10 they replicated, especially when there's some ults in the mix for G2.
Let's put the middle. That's the important one. No real ult on the side of Giant X, but they're rotating away from the pit into the A side.
Yeah, their one win con of getting players deep deposit into mid for that mid-round call has been stripped away by the Viper's pit. A side again left intentionally weak to play that retake. I'm loving the high-low again pairing towards B. This feels like the correct choice out of Giant X. It's just a matter of what Eva will be able to find, and again, what util Mimi can provide support-wise from afar.
Trying to flash into the side. Mimi needs to be very good on that utility. 1 kill for Eva, more than enough. More than you can ask for. Anita gets a trade onto Mimi. Utility down, Eva finds that kill, retreats, gets out of there. Support from Vanya there as well. Numbers advantage for G2. Yes, the pit is going down, but there is still all the possibilities for Gozen. Adora, the important player. 21 frags and still counting. Getting the kill, making the showstopper closer and closer. Enva also there in an off angle. You need to check this one. She doesn't look, but Vanya not quick enough. Doesn't find the immediate headshot. Dropped down by Amy, punished by Adora. Showstopper is up and running. Eva, the last player standing. Anita shot step down. Round number 9. G2 can't convert the round.
I said it, these A post plants are just so clean from Giant X. And Adora, that player, when she has an otherwise quiet game, awakens when this surge of adrenaline, whether it's overtime, whether it's a final charge during overtime. This is how they got a 3-9 comeback against Carmine Core yesterday. And we're starting to see that start up again if they win this next round, in my opinion, right? It'll be double digits. It won't be that one blip on the radar we've seen so many times this half. But Again, it's that question mark, right? Adora invested that showstopper, not a tool for this round. And look at this, a direct counter, knowing that A was so strong for Giant X. They take A main in stride.
Take a lot of space. Vanya and Anita. This one down, but
Look at
a
Adora.
lot of noise. Oh, the re-clear doesn't work out. Vanya finds the duelist, and Adora has been so impactful in that last few rounds. Shut down. That momentum for the race.
They're gone. Right, numbers found. That's all G2 wants in these early rounds. And I liked the idea to re-clear A main, but I really wish it was off of some util, right? Like a guiding light or something. You can't underestimate these G2 players in dry swing.
And you can't underestimate or disrespect all of those corners. And Vanya standing into one. Enva equalizes. But Vanya is just too good on the trigger. It's just too strong of an aimer to discredit. No more flashes. Nothing left to work with. Over to the side of Giant X. They have a paranoia, but Jada and Enva somehow bring it back. Giant X are still living. They're not auditives. Ever. You need to be exceptional. You need to be perfect.
Spike planted.
To bring this one home. Giant X momentum is there. Enva is a third. Double digits for them. Are you a believer, Toby?
I'm a believer now. I said it. If GX got to double digits, they've proven their track record, their resiliency. Playing the most rounds out of any team in this stage. And this was a brilliant shrouded step from Jada as well. If she positions instead into that dark cover, tucks away alongside Enva, I don't think it would have been the same outcome. The two players walking past were everything. And I said it earlier this map, didn't I, Akamas? I wanted to see more out of Jada because on the other side is Vanya. They have been so similar in the rankings, right? Being both these fraggers and these assistive players. And I think Jada has slightly higher individual kill statistics, but support-wise, again, the cash, the KPR, the APR, they are hand in hand.
I think G2 is more of a, like, not top-heavy team. Like, G2 is a team that's more split up between roles, and everyone is doing this one perfectly. On the other side, like, Giant X sometimes tends to be a little bit of a top-heavy team, not with all of the supports coming in. And Vanya is playing her role perfectly. Yes, she is a standout player, but always, like, if she's needed to be in a support role and to take a step back, she's there for it.
Absolutely. I mean, Enva, look, 25 and 16. Adora not far behind because of this late game resurgence. And we had the trap play, right, from G2 that was brilliant to counter A, but that's a one-time thing. You can't run that back time and time again. So Giant X, again, they're sticking to their win condition, not making any changes despite the G2 timeout.
Support from Jada. Broken off, Eva. Only player onto that A side. It's been given over to Giant X. A little bit of a contact over towards Mimi. Both initiators spotted, and the dog on the side should clear out everything. That's a plan for Giant X in the post-plant scenario G2 has to fight against.
Akita has up, but is one off the conversion paths if this kill can get gifted. But this is even worse than normal. Eva didn't anchor.
And Enva has a position. Might get a shot on the up. Finds an entry. Akita down. The up on the ground. No convergent paths for you in that round.
At this point, if you're G2, you lose this round. Two players have full buys. You know, see if something can stick before calling for the same, but time is so far against the Makamask.
Paranoia is so important. You need to be on that side. You need to be quick. Double kill from Anita, from the mains. Holding this one down. The screens pop. Doesn't work for G2. Mimi just runs away. Saves that gun. You want 3 full buys in the next round, but Giant X will be hunting for you, will be coming after your head. Jade more falls down, 11 and 12. Giant X is still in this.
And she couldn't even recover that operator that was in Akita's hands either. This kill defines the entire round. And Anita here understanding that the reason why they lost that last A post plane on that Thrifty was losing elbow control. So fights off of that dark cover as those players funnel out. Deny the trades from G2, and we are 1 round from overtime. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Giant X heavy towards this A space. I'm expecting the double controller to go a lot later than Enva, so this looks like a lurk fake out while the Rays fake a B split. And I'm curious if that's going to be enough to weaken the A-hold that's been bolstered this time with Vanya super aggressive on the ramps line.
Completely different setup by G2. But the first strike goes to Enva again. Ever over peaks, ever over steps on the jiggle. What?
That's where you need like the slow-mo enhance to see exactly what the pixel angle was, because that in a million years did not look like it was connecting. But it's plot armor at this point for Giant X. First kill found, and that was on the A side, so it should be weaker. But we've seen Vanya multi-kill madness from ramps in this deadly angle.
But Anita has her. Anita is ready for that exact angle because Vanya has played it before. Vanya has shown that she's not afraid of stepping up in this. Jademore finds the IGL limit. Mimi has been spotted out, called out by Jademore. We are going to overtime. Giant X. Do you believe in miracles?
This team and their avalanche is that you cannot control nature. You've just got to get out of the way. And these heroic multi-kills that we usually see from players like Amy, players like Vanya just are not hitting these past few rounds that Giant X have been able to stack up and now are standing upon that tower and looking down at G2. But if we know anything about G2, they won the pistols, they know how to control momentum when things swap, and now the sides have. So who will get off to the right foot first? Got to wait and see.
Sometimes you just need to sit down.
Bonne chance, mes amis.
And that's what we are trying to do here. An op for Enva early. Getting some support once again.
Okay.
Don't miss me too much.
I like the group kill to try and shut down Akita here into heaven. If she dashes through this, should be at least a trade.
Dog middle destroyed. Akita has a great position. This time she's quicker than Anita. But Adora has a trade as well. Amy down. One of the top fraggers on the ground. Akita is still thriving. A triple for her. Convergent pops ready. Ultimate has bad applications. Has bad implications for Giant X at this point. Under the cage. Needs what? No way. No way you're getting that flick. Makes it more possible. All of a sudden, Giant X is not out of this. Are they doing it? Are they getting it back?
I don't know. Guiding Light still online. Double flashes for Mimi. It feels like the util stacked against Giant X.
There's still a Guiding Light. Mimi is flashing into the heavens. Fault line ready as well. A second flash for her. A paranoia. Everything set up perfectly for G2. A bit of a creeping closer. They spotted both players. The Guiding Light is coming through. Mimi needs to fight. Mimi has a double. Mimi says no to that comeback from Giant X. The IGL steps her foot down.
Switching sides.
What a stun. Again, showcasing why the breach is not an outdated pickup on this map, but obviously the flowers go to Akita. That one, I mean, the spotlight maybe for the kills itself, that'll be in the highlight reel for sure, but all in all, yeah, that is a round to celebrate. Mentioning grasping back the reins after, again, you lost that momentum for so long. And now it's just a question, can GX recover?
Shots to JT. But yeah, G2 is celebrating that round, but still not over it. It's still a nail-biter. You need to stay in this. You need to stay sharp. You need to stay precise against the Giant X that certainly won't give themselves up. Enva on the op, aggressive angle.
Ooh, and this is different, right? We talked about A-Take Simulator for Giant X. Akita's not played in this silent corner before, but the alarm bell should go off if she's not paired with Vanya. She's not spotted in vents. Or
perfect.
There's a huge gap in heaven, even. Right? Enva starting to scale through. Mimi has at least a spawn space, but this has the makings of a really nice GXA split if Jademore gets in position, crosses over man without Amy taking her out.
I think Enva spotted nothing. I think Enva spotted nothing on that jump peak and expects Giant X to be over towards the B side. That's why they're still strengthening that hold. Akita, you need to spot this one. That angle has been played so often, and Akita has been perfect from those positions. Not the most consistent in that matchup, but when it matters most, she is there. A triple
Be right back.
to bring it into the pockets of G2 goes. No pocket for her. Jada stops the rampage, but Mimi calls game. Mimi calls map 12 and 14. The comeback tonight from G2 Gozen.
Wow, and again, Akita deadly with these, the OT multi-kills. We mentioned Adora is usually the one in that role, in those shoes, but Again, I feel like Giant X in some of these big swing rounds, that one included, it was small mistakes, like corners not cleared, like positions miscommed, and it's gonna be another moment where Jade was like, we should have won that map, right?
They should have 9 entries from Enva.
That's crazy. 29 and 18, no one getting a 30 bomb, but yeah, I'm waiting for the rest of the team to equate that kind of performance, right? We see again the support players like Jade Maw, like maybe the IGLs, right? Treading down just a little bit. And I mean, it's like both of the players who wanted to step up, stepped up, right? I was like, Amy could be a problem. You said Enva could be a problem, and they were, but Amy, whew, her defensive half screamed with these multi-kills. Vani as well had her strong showing moments, and it was just when those shots weren't aligning, that's when Giant X found that comeback at least to overtime.
Yeah, and Akita showed in overtime why G2 trusts her so much, right? She showed off in a moment where it mattered most. Like, Akita had some struggles throughout, especially that defensive half, right? It was a very quiet half for her. But in the overtime, Akita stepped up in the right moments, shut down everything that Giant X were throwing at G2 Gozen. And that's what matters, right? If you have a player that's that clutch like Akita, you don't have to worry too much about it.
Well, we said it was a risk to pick up this map for G2 Gozen, and they've showcased that while it was close, it was the correct choice. Getting started off with a victory, heading into map 2 of Corrode up next, which you mentioned also for Giant X felt like a risk, felt like it could go either way despite their successes in the past up against G2, being 1-1 on this map. And I'm thinking about the form that these players are in, and I'm thinking about the comps coming up. This is gonna be like the split 2.0 in my opinion, and I'll be looking towards maybe I think on the battle stage here, hopefully again to get a little bit up there. And also can't forget it, the Jade Maw Odin.
Yeah, the Jade Maw Odin will come through after a short break. I think we have to take a breather here right now after that great map 1. Corrode will be a banger as well. Stay tuned, we will be back after the break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey!
Hey, Tom.
Alberto was looking for you, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, you better get there
Okay,
quick.
I'll go check.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Tom Biz. You've had your fun. It's my turn.
Bitter, sweet, fiery heat, whispers the man of the hurricane. Oh, stop pushing me, gonna push so hard I'll just let go now. Lost in your mind, blown on the wings of the hurricane. I won't let go, 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 I won't let go. Ain't never giving up on you. Gonna see this storm all the way through. Gonna push right through the driving rain. Gonna ride on the wings of the hurricane. 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 Spirits climb
Hello everyone and welcome back to the interviews. I have the pleasure to be sitting down here with Amy from G2 Gozen. Yeah, first of all, before we start talking about the matchup against Giant X in general, there's a little connection here between you and Jade, especially. In your second ever Game Changer split, you played alongside Jade Moore. Like, how do you look at her improvements and the overall way she has been taking? Because you are on two very different paths throughout the entire years.
Yeah, I mean, Jade has always been a super hardworking player, and I always knew she is a very smart player, and I knew that she will always be, if not on my team, on the enemy, a very great player in IGL, and I think she has shown that multiple times. She has been bringing multiple rosters up to the top. So yeah, I'm not surprised that I'm playing against her because she's a great player.
Yesterday you lost against Gentlemates, and we on the broadcast are talking about moments that make or break teams a lot. Do you think, what are your main takeaways from the loss yesterday against Gentlemates, and do you think moments like this are important for you as a team to grow internally?
Yeah, I think definitely after the match we had we had a little break, and then we just watched back the match and we just talked about what went wrong and what we weren't doing, because it felt like we were not playing ourselves. We were just letting things happen to us instead of us playing our game. And I think just watching yesterday, it just made us all realize this is not us. We're way better than this, and it's so sad that we had to show a bad game like that. And I think we're just all super ready and motivated, and we know what went wrong and we know what to fix and we know what the problems are. So yeah, I'm really glad this happened now, so we can get on with these next 2 days, hopefully.
Yeah, 1 year ago you were in the exact same spot, right? You played the lower bracket finals against Giant X. There are other players on this team now, right? So nothing to compare really here, but same spot, same organization you're playing against. You lost this one. Do you still feel some sort of pressure to win today? And what do you think about the new Giant X team that went up against Carmine Corp and took the win there yesterday?
I think it's a fully different team and fully different roster, so it's really hard for me to compare them, I would say, even though they have the same coach, and Asuka was my coach as well. And I think also that's why GX is playing good, because I think Asuka is just a really good coach as well. And yeah, I mean, of course there's always going to be a bit of pressure because yeah, it's our last chance basically, and we want to win. But I always say that you need pressure to play good, otherwise it's just a rank match or just a scrim, and I need that pressure to be able to play my A game. So yeah, I'm just excited for it.
Amy, thank you very much for taking the time. Good luck into your game against Giant X today, and we'll hear from each other soon. Give some greetings to the team and bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yesterday, you took a big swing in the map veto against M8. Are there specific changes you believe are necessary to secure a victory, especially considering a Haven play from yesterday? And why did you leave it open in the first place?
So we left Haven open yesterday. We wanted to take advantage of a weakness in Gentlemate's map pool and also secure some maps that we wanted to play. It didn't work out, of course. They got the victory. But that's okay, it happens sometimes. We've reviewed and we feel really confident about our plans going forward for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, a lot of words from a G2 Gozen's team, and I think the confidence in the end speaks for itself. They have an idea of what they are doing about, right, Zobi?
No, completely, and I think that was the exact difference that we saw on Split today, right? That Amy mentality of we were letting things happen to us, which isn't like us. So what did they do? They took the initiative. They recurred the space aggressively with that Mimi Akita duo, and if they keep something up like that, Giant X aren't gonna be able to swing as effectively as they really like to do, taking the fights to G2. But then again, the comp that they're about to go into with Crow doesn't feel as nearly as oppressive with that double sentinel in the same way. So that makes me curious of what it's going to entail as well. But on the flip side, in the preparation Akamask, it's so funny to hear Amy also acknowledge that Asuka is a great coach, because Jadema in her interview yesterday was like, best coach, no hands down, nothing. And it seems like something Amy could agree with.
Yeah, the glazing from both of those for Asuka has been a lot throughout the entire interviews, and I think it's deserved. bringing a team of misfits up to that spot, you have to give a lot of credit to the coach. And Aska is making a great job letting those teams shine, letting those players shine. And I think overall, like, Giant X owes a lot to him and to the composition that FMCL was building beforehand, the startup that they were building. And yeah, I think I really like what they're setting themselves up to. Their map pick is coming next, which will be Corrode.
Yeah, and it does not appear like there are changes on either side, which is no big surprise. It is lower finals after all, and these teams really haven't changed too much across the entire season regardless. And coming into this map, again, expectations I mentioned, I think Giant X might be able to get away with a little bit more in my eyes, just because there is that lack of a super oppressive agent like Breach, right? Akita not on the way, on the Yoda instead, for example, but you are still going to see them fighting out for these first contact points, right? You have the gate crash, you have the rendezvous with Amy, and Amy already demonstrated that she is feeling herself in terms of these individual engagements, right, that she was finding on the Viper over on Split. And on the flip side, right, I'm excited to see the Jade Ma Odin. I believe, what was it, a 2% headshot rate because she was leveraging that weapon yesterday versus KC Akamask.
Yeah, she was talking about it on Twitter because Purity called her out for like 2% headshot rate. And she was like, oh yeah, I have a Deagle in hand, which is aiming for body. And then I had Aris and Odin for the entire game. So, you know, in the end, that 2% headshot rate. It doesn't matter if you're getting the kills. It's a stat that's irrelevant if you have the right weapons in hand. And you shouldn't have it with a Vandal, but, you know, with an Odin, it's fine.
I'm pretty sure she has like the top Odin and Ares kills as well in the entire stage, which is no big surprise. So coming into this though, this is one of the maps they have the most wins on, right? And about even, right, attack and, I was gonna say, round win rate to their actual win rate. So we know where they're going to have to be strong here first and foremost, starting out on this attack. But speaking of starting, look at G2. We mentioned not letting things happen to them, taking those early fights. Well, how about one to kick off the pistol?
Yeah, be proactive. Get a little bit more space off from Giant X, not giving them the space to be comfortable, not letting them get comfortable on the map, playing their own game. That has been what G2 has done for the entire day thus far, and Giant X are not taking kindly to this.
All right. Put in the util. Got through Yard, but slow down. The thoughts of instead of B flip are dangerous when Vani is running contact, when Eva's actively starting to re-clear Link.
Oh, that crossfire might be deadly. Atara is there on the swing, but no commitment from Eva. You still have the Haunt available, but look where Akita is. I want to say it in like the same timing. Like, she's right behind everyone on Giant X.
And now it was like, where are they? I mean, Eva has definitely found out, so now I feel like that advantage is essentially nullified, right? You expect them to retake their mid anyways. The question now becomes, how far does Giant X go? And it looks like they've re-cleared elbow and front sight instead of taking into Crane, which rewards them.
Rewards them with an entry kill onto Eva. She was alone on that side. Akita right behind him. Jakemar not aware, not ready for the fight. Akita finds that kill. Giant X cramped onto the side.
Yeah, Trademark was over towards B. Jade Mob was probably going to try and re-wrap mid because she loves getting behind the enemy team, but for now, players confined to the site.
And there's not the paranoia to work with. On to Vanya, Enva, high angle. Can she make use of that elevated position? Doesn't really seem like it. Mimi on the spike, gets shut down by Anita. They're on the defuse, and a little bit of distraction by Eldora. Clears out all the kills. A triple for Anita in the end. And Giant X brings this pistol round home.
I love that, jumping through the dark cover like, I don't care about you, I care about the person behind you, and just buys enough delay time so that the players outside of the smoke can win their engagements and follow through to deny any sort of spike defusal. And I liked the barrier wall, again, so overpowered on the pistol over towards elbow. It is just unfortunate that it was an immediate regroup after 4 players did clear out Eva. If they stayed elbow, it would have been perfect. It was the right call at the time, but that's where Giant X and their proactivity to change things in the post came in clutch. So now, I mean, that's the first time they've won a pistol in this series. Buy up is there, but Amy, Headhunter we know can be dangerous.
That's hello. Just trying to get onto the side. The Headhunter doesn't find anything. Jakemar on the Aris is fast enough, but the backside cleared out from Eva. A triple quick into the hands of G2. All of a sudden, Mimi all on her own, but look at the HP bars. Anita and Jada hanging on by a thread. They need to be aggressive. They need to re-clear some of the space. And Mimi, if she's fast enough, she isn't. Jada finds that last kill 2-0. Giant X loses nearly all of their weapons, but they get around.
We know G2 are menaces on the bonuses, on the ecos, in terms of making their presence known instead of the damage done. And we're again seeing lethal corners not cleared and late reactions from players on the GX side, but they keep it together and they are, instead of bonusing, just forcing up in place as much as they can. Operator online for Enva, Anita, Vandal in hand. We're looking towards Eva, who's also been impressed with the Odin. I might need some Odin head-to-head stats later on, but for now, ooh, this is a nice bait, but the Prowler tracked the distraction, and I do like them not really opting in for this fight.
Still, the op has been spotted by G2. This makes this one a little bit harder for Giant X, in my opinion.
Agree. I already saw the wall go up B, set up the fake line for Amy. Cycling the walls, so they don't peek anything too brazenly. I do love this off angle for Vanya. I thought she was going to get rewarded over towards Amy, but now it's the pressure on Adora to clear this angle first.
And she does. Spots Vanya. And Vanya has to be out. You can't really hold that off angle for way too long. 50 seconds on the clock for Giant X.
They're running out of ideas. I do like the backpedal towards B, top mid, if they can take out this Eva Mimi crossfire. But that's an Odin, and you have classics. Light shields, Ghost Cement, and I think it's just going to be a meat grinder.
The contact over immediately into some audience. Or not. Enva
30 seconds left.
dodges this one, but Amy on the Vandal, quick enough. Jada with trade Eva just going in there. They're pinching together. They're encircling everyone on Giant X. All of them falling down into that small area. Anita on her own needs to find kills. A triple out of Eva is enough for G2 to convert that round. 3 guns on the ground. The operator taken away. And G2 finds something to work with.
Yeah, it's a bit delayed, but it is that eventual crunch, right? I liked the seeds that came out of Jade Maw, but the slow is perfectly placed by Mimi to allow Eva to get back into the fight, right? And speaking of getting back into the fight as well, the rendezvous to regroup on the B side when they realized it was just that one solo player B main. Again, they're leveraging this double sentinel really, really well so far. This is going to be that stronger half, just compositionally speaking. Now, I mean, you've handed up that operator upgrade over to Amy, which is a dangerous game to be playing, and she's adding it now to the one gap that they have had around mid-space.
But Akita a little bit too far forward, a little bit too aggressive. Eva immobile on the Odin, falls down immediately. Amy has trade, but is that enough for G2 to come back into this one? Adora trades herself out as well. Vanya falls in main. And all of a sudden that A side belongs to Giant X. Mimi on her own 1 versus 3 on the Sage.
Oh, and I mentioned again, not a lot of util to initiate these sort of fights. So when it comes just down to the head-to-heads in mid, that backyard brawl, it's like GX had the edge this time around. Mimi looking to play exits. Enva's recovered that operator as well. Just gonna play handoff at this point. And we'll tie us up 2-2. No broad with momentum for either squad. This is how we expected this map to go. All right, last time a 13-11 victory narrowly for G2. The first time a little bit of a wild card again early in the season. G2 perhaps still trying to figure this out. Lost 5-13. So we know that this can go any which way. And 3-1 here. G2. Enough to at least half buy coming into the next round.
They have an ult on Eva. This one can swing around potentially if they're deciding to use it. Like we saw it on the previous map where G2 on the low buy, fighting on the Nightfall, trying to be a tad more aggressive.
Once I got the kills, yeah.
Yeah.
And here, specifically, we've got to see Giant X, the strengths that we saw in Split. There was one thrifty they let slip through, but otherwise they were flawlessly denying them. And G2, taking the initiative. Looks like we're sending it down mid.
Yeah, 3 players there, Eva. Drops them to the lower levels. Not giving any peeks over to Giant X, but they need to get into some more closer territory over to the side of G2.
That is a perfect call, right? We mentioned how they won so many of those close range engagements with the right clicks of the classics. And that's why Giant have slowed things down, are trying to play these super long sight lines around mid. And unfortunately, eventually, you're going to have to go in towards one of these sites. And we know how crowded the B side is. You know how lethal Link can be. And that's where attention goes to Enva to clear it out.
Hand spotted, Amy down. Do you check if there's one? You're still on the side. Adora, fast on the trigger, fast on the run, and just overrunning that player. You hear the steps on the backstep. Anita knows where everyone on G2 is, and Enva up for the task, up for the fight. Spots two players, ports out. Mimi takes the fight over to there.
Steal
with
the up and run?
Fast enough.
Oh my gosh, Mimi just got away with a robbery, and she's trying to get away. Her scent on the line for Jada, for Anita. I don't think she's gonna hold on to it, but
how good is Mimi on the op? That's a big question. Finds a kill, finds a headshot. Maybe Mimi should take off the duelist role on the op again.
Hey, we've seen it on maps. Maybe we'll see it later on Breeze. Ooh, but again, I mentioned it. Giant X so thorough in denying these ecos. Yeah, I mentioned the only danger point was that close range fight around Link, around Yard, and her finding that opening kill was perfect. And I like this adaptation as well of leaving Anita in mid, because they were backstabbed previously by Akita, right? Because that trademark's there to keep them at bay, B main, instead of cover themselves when they go on these A exits. And they've since adapted that because they realize how often G2 is now trying to take advantage of it. Or because, I mean, look at Enva, Operator instead, to replace this B main line.
Yeah, trying to hold it there. Waiting for G2 aggression. And G2 is actually giving them the aggression over, but Giant X forcing them off with the smoke, trying to give Enva a little bit more time to work around. And Mimi on the jump spot. Should see Enva there.
It's a bait for Akita, though.
A little bit hesitant. But it's a great bait.
This is the special, the comp, right? Put a Yoder, put a chamber with a TP ahead of the wall. And you had to know that. You had to be ready for it.
But you weren't. Enva finds that kill onto Akita. That's an early run into the round. Adora. Another op into her face. Amy, are you quick enough on the trigger to shoot that neon out of her running? Get smoked off.
One overdrive here. Break the bank for G2.
Paranoia stops them. No flick out of Amy. No kill out of Amy from that off angle. Numbers even once again. Akita finds Adora in the duel of the duelists. That's an important one. Eva, ultimate into the back of Giant X. Second flash from Akita. It's perfect. A triple kill for her. No, Anita denies. It's my spike smoked off. Jade Moore all on her own. A Vandal in hand. A picture we are not used to right now. Normally on the Odin, but gets a double. Jade Moore, it's doable. Eva closes out. But this is way too close for comfort if you're in a 1 versus 3.
And Akita played that perfectly, not letting them get into post-plant positions, capitalizing off the information that those Terror Tendrils from the Nightfall provide. And we almost saw that Jade Maw peak form that she's mentioned in that clutch, but just too much HP chipped off from those engagements out of the dark cover, and there it is. It's not pretty, but it gets the job done, keeps things close. But look at this. This round is going to be a mess, Akamas. Good luck. 9 out of 10 ultimates on the table. Giant X, again, very similar to Split. They know they have a strong A post plant, so what are you doing when you have these ults? Simplifying.
Using the ults to your advantage. Not trying to throw everything onto one card.
Look at the money for G2.
Execute.
Odin, Guardian, and that is it, right? Even though they won the round, they might have lost the war.
Lost war of money, indeed. Financial crisis over to the side of G2. Immediate execution. Adora finds Mimi. Sage down on the floor. Vanya in that smoke needs to be impactful. Deepa and the Guardian. Quick to kill. Adora finds Vanya as well. No adjustment onto Akita. No kill onto the other duelist. Spike has been dropped down. Akita heavy lifting onto that map up until now.
From the shadows, utilized to recover the spike. Now it's the Seeds of Doubt because of that back sight smoke. Did they rotate? Are they cutting noise? There's 45 seconds left, so they can go wherever they want. And G2 decide to play it together. Wait for the sound to reveal the game.
We are sticking around. We are waiting. Waiting for Giant X to give us a
30
clue.
seconds left.
Teleport's ready.
30 seconds on the board. But GX, no signs of movement. Now inching closer towards the side. Enva, you need to be quick. You need to be fast on the trigger. But Amy, simply better in that moment. Jada's close. Jada has one, but Eva on the trade. Behind that box. Perfectly set up for success. G2, second round in a row, stabilizing their economy a little bit.
And is again off of Akita. 3 kills found with that Guardian. I need to know what sort of timing she found. I think it was off of Vanya's paranoia, but those kills were criminal. I mean, after Adora finds that, like... Whew. Huge swing round from G2 to keep things close, which is kind of similar to what we saw Giant X able to accomplish over on Split as we trudged towards that 6-6. And now, the A site's been spoiled. The money has been broken up. You want to take it to that more cluttered side, those closer angles of the B space. But again, this Yoru Sage with a trademark to reinforce, that choke is so dangerous. They want to go through mid instead.
And so rough for Giant X to find anything of count here. Amy amid forward position, porting out, and you don't know about anything right now. Akita has a swing there as well. Enva not successful on the headhunter. B-side the no-no zone.
All right.
Turned into a graveyard for Giant X in mere seconds.
Last time Enva from main was the one to clear out the front side of space so they could fast track through yard. Now that pressure's on Anita. They missed the timing. G2 can find elbow now.
It's to be perfect. Anita has to kill into Vanya. They know Eva's there. They know they have to flood elbow at some point. Anita dies to the Odin, dies to the spam. It's a headshot in the end. Akita getting more and more information. Eva has a second one. All onto Jada, all onto the Omen. But Jada clutched before. Showed that she's capable of doing it. Showed that she's capable of fighting against multiple enemies. But this time not. Denied by G2. The paradise of a 5th round not available for Giant X right now.
And I'm feeling Giant X timeouts in the water here soon. I mean, the opening's not going their way. I mean, Spike goes down, but again, no time to pre-position. I thought for a second Akita in this Dimensional Drift wasn't going to turn around, and we might have some sort of heroics left in the tank, but speaking of what's left in the tank, another buy comes through. They'll have a half buy in the next if they lose this. Again, to me, this is such a big swing round, so no timeout here speaks to the confidence in the server for Giant X to turn this around. They have their own Op Odin combo online to rival that of Eva and Amy. Just a matter of where can you overwhelm this double Sentinel comp?
And the CT side is like the prime objective for G2 here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the Sage and the Chamber, you have a lot of blocking power, combining that with the Viper. Attack will be a different picture, and I think Giant X is fine getting like 5 or 6 rounds here.
Yeah, I mean, the last time they faced off, it was a 9-3 for Giant X on their defense when they started. So, you know that Giant X is stronger on that defense more than anything. That was 2 times ago. That was that 13-5 dominance in the group stage, and
I can't imagine why are you laughing.
And that 13-11
I know
as well. That was also close.
Yeah.
6-6.
6-6. And we are moving into the site. It's a quick execution for Giant X, but G2 denies it. Denies the entry. A double off Akita from the corner. Exceptional. 3 kills, and it's just down to Enva. Spike in a territory where you can't really retreat it. It's not possible. Just save the op, go next round, and try to build some things up again.
If we didn't get a timeout this round, it should be coming in the next. Yeah. Again, should be able to get at least 3 rifles online.
10 seconds left.
Nice little half buy. We mentioned the issues, not on B, but towards A, have been not getting onto site, but locking down the site. So that Viper's Pit from Anita could prove quite useful. But yeah, this is just the double Sentinel composition at work, and GX have not found a solution. So I hope that Coach Asuka has that solution, because it is...
Enemy remaining.
Even though the score is close, the rounds that G2 have been able to find have not.
Yeah. Like, I think the score and what happens in the rounds is a totally different story. Like, if G2 wins rounds, it's always been dominant. That's why their economy is so stabilized, even though the results are so close to each other.
Mm-hmm. And we said it, this Giant X timeout was due course here. And this is about more than just the EMEA region, obviously. They want to prove themselves on the international stage after the best they found last year was that 5th, 6th spot with KC and G2. So, and they're fighting to be that top dog later this year.
Trying to beat the 0-team aggregations.
All right.
I mean, intentionally, like, Brazil and Americas are dominating right now, but I think, like, there's a chance that EMEA this year are Phoenix of the Ashes, right? There has been a lot of roster turmoil, especially towards the end of the year. G2 couldn't quite find, like, a stable constellation and ran out of steam in the end. And I think this year might be a little bit different.
Well, speaking of running out of steam, I had this feeling that Giant X couldn't come up with a solution on split, and then the side swapped and everything was okay, right? Once they got to that 6-6 mark. Here, there's still that little bit of nudge room for G2 to get across the line, to get an advantage in the numbers game. So I really need an answer back out of this timeout. And I like this. Instead of leaving Enva on these outlier mains, like A, like B, they're gonna put her up mid and try to punish Eva, try to punish this link control. And Amy, this time swinging into Enva this time around.
But Enva has the other side locked up. Fires of shots with from both.
Toxins going up.
Trying to stabilize over towards that A side, where there is a wall. Has been dropped down by Anita.
This is a fake though. And I do like it, right? The Prowler through Link, the wall being broken. The issue is G2 does not budge because Vanya has this deep B jump jiggle line, and now Enva's been seen. You expect some sort of regroup to come through, right? There's 30 seconds left. That's when you're nearing the requirement to commit.
You have to be fast now. Especially considering there's a paranoia ready. That should slow down the execute even more. All of the players tucked into that one corner. Vanya and Akita up for the task. Two of the players holding down everything. The Giant X was building up. No spike in sight for Anita. Nothing goes down here. It has been half of an eco round, but still, it going down like this isn't perfect for Giant X. They still seem a little bit lost.
Yeah, I mean, flawless for G2 out of a Giant X timeout. Again, they slowed things down. They tried to punish outlier players, but G2 aren't having any outliers. They're sticking to the data set. They're not leaving anybody out on their own on islands. And at this point, it does feel like, okay, GX have gone for it. It's not terrible if they end with an 8-4. We know they had the resiliency to come back, right? They did it getting to overtime on split. They did it yesterday against KC, weaning out Vine after a 3-9. I don't want to say GG go next, but it might be that kind of regard for this half at least. So G2, a little switch up too, right out of what should be the full buy.
That's a nice shot over Amy. That's good for Anita mid. Once again, G2 early drawing false blood into those rounds. And Giant X back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I liked it. They reshuffled where Akita was. Instead of on a main alongside the chamber, it was deep into Link. They find the first blood and they get out. Again, it's those set protocols, the system in place where they never make those macro mistakes. And Giant X, I like the little fake dash because it does flush out the paranoia, so a little bit less util in the tank and an otherwise, again, less oppressive style composition, but getting to that similar point where it's going to be 45 seconds, you're committing to a site with no plan B.
And no movement out G2, they're just waiting for Giant X to make the first move. Adora has a double there maybe, sets this one up, both sentinels down, both on the floor. Akita, you have to do something nice here, but she doesn't. Jade more faster on the trigger once you're having the Odin in hand. Jade more able to frag there as well. Enva might be able to swing in here with a kill as well. Holding the back lines.
Face your fear!
Ever just moving in. Counter
Okay.
Nightfall. Stopping what G2 is trying to set up, but Ever spots out Jakemore.
Find you.
Important frag. The initiator down. The player from Elbow is the important one that you have to clear out as well. Adora has been spotted. Vanya makes this one much more possible. And all of a sudden, Adora all on her own finds only one. And the round number 7, a halftime lead secured by G2 in a 2 versus 4. No way they're having a way in.
Oh, and that would have been the round that gave you hopes of a 6-6, of a 7-5, anything more than the 8-4 that if you feel destined for. I mean, the opening was beautiful, right? We mentioned how this composition already doesn't have any scare utility, and the ones that are even remotely having a name in the server were so far away, right? Once you got past the Amy op line, once you got past the stage delays, they closed the distance so fast that Adora was able to overwhelm. This round, though, despite the botched buy with the light shields, the Guardian, I do see where Adora gets an orb, gets an opening kill, and this overdrive could give them that last glimmer of hope before the side swap.
I mean, again, I talked about it. Like, if you're getting 6 or 7 rounds here, you're very happy if you're a Giant X, right? That double block bomb stalls you so much on defense.
Okay. Deeper line again. Don't want to take the fight to Mimi. Mimi as well is valuable with that resurrection online. So she backs out to deep back site space. In the meantime, Adora has understood that Akita has crossed, but with the gate cache re-replenished, I don't think this util is really going to get much punishment. Or the anchor's too close and they get some sprays through the wall.
50 HP on the Akita, but she still manages to get one frag. Still manages to get one of Giant X down. Trying to flood mid, Giant X. Hesitation on their side, not committing onto the play right now.
This Odin. They can shut it down. The rest should follow. The refight, the repunished off the haunt. You know the anchor is there, so you know they have no options but to fight. And this is where the call should have been to lean. Instead, the site's been flipped through mid control. Jada's gonna run interference on the rotations from A. This is a fragile position, and G2 make the bold decision that since Spike has just gone down, let's avoid fighting back in from main.
And that's an all-in position from Jada that doesn't really get her something. 2 versus 4. Heroics needed. Make it a 5 versus 1 because Mimi brings Akita back. Jakemore, are you up for the task? Is it too much for you to handle an ultimate out of Akita? Jakemore! What? Fights 4! Makes this doable! Makes this possible! But Vanya, too quick on the trigger! Jakemore, a glimmer of hope! But the half belongs to G2 with an 8 and 4.
Question marks in Giant X's decision in this map veto to go to Corrode over maps like Bind that they snowballed yesterday up against Carmine Core, and we're starting to see the reasons why. G2 goes in up 8-4. We need players like Anita with that 3rd highest average ACS to step up. We need players like Jada with some of the best support stats up alongside Vanya to step up because they are struggling. But we said it, their defensive half so strong when they dominated G2 on this map with that 13-5, and G2 had that double sentinel composition, so the cards are stacked favoring a comeback here, Akamask.
It might be, but it starts with a pistol. If you lose that pistol, G2 might just run away with it. That's the most important part of this one, just hitting the clone. Enva in mid, no luck on that first shot, and Akita, cheeky position. Moving into elbow a little bit more. Setting up a split potentially for G2.
Huh. No one holding the direct line either, it's just the jiggle deep from Jada. I'm gonna get the re-clear patrol that'll come in from Jadenwa from Enva, but might be a little too late. They are already taking that yard space without much resistance other than this relay bolt.
Yeah, that rally bolt slows it down, and look what Giant X is doing. They're re-clearing mid, they're re-clearing elbow, and they're trying to be up for the pace, trying to be a little bit faster on the re-clear. To get an entry frag, and Jademore finds it. Amy down. No luck onto that shot. Doesn't find a headshot. Enva has a second one for them. G2 encircled. Enva needs to make work. Needs to bring some damage into this one. Jada has a kill. Mimi has two, but it's down to Ever. Only the Fate can intervene into this side take for Giant X, but Jada has a triple and an important pistol taken by Giant X.
It's like, that's the second time I've asked more of Jada, and she delivers within 2 rounds, right? This time bouncing back immediately to secure that 3K. And I liked how Giant X thrived in the chaos, right? It was a nice setup around that barrier wall from G2 to fight back into yard. As well, that last player out inside of A main, but yeah, Amy just trying to cover the plant, getting picked off there is dangerous when she's the one wielding the headhunter. You saw a brief glimmer of a stinger from G2, but they think better of it, don't want to give up the slim lead you have. And on the flip side, 3 Bulldogs, that classic Jadenwa Ares, and the Outlaw for Enva. This is a nice recipe to not just set themselves up with this round, but potential follow-through.
0 options for Giant X on this one, and don't follow up. The Outlaw, nice track onto Akita. Early entry, but that's what you're expecting out of Enva.
Ooh, Fastline allows the scaling though to close the distance, which you know is dangerous from G2.
Oh, but Adora has timing. Vanya on the trick, but the right click from Elbow sets up Jada perfectly. 2 kills out of G2, but nothing else that you can play around with. A quick one from Giant X, no spike plant, denies economy, denies money for Gozen. And brings them to a territory where Giant X has a realistic chance to take this round home.
Yeah, great opener. I mentioned closing the distance, which Vadi and Mimi were able to do, at least to take a few down. Took, I think, a Bulldog and that Ares out of the hands. But
that's a good spot.
This is the round that we're looking towards. No additional hero rifles purchased for Adora or Anita. Maybe a Bucky would have been a nice investment, but let's see what they can do. Scraps the previous. Already faking a potential mid-cross, trying to flush out additional G2 utility, but Enva, that was mis-timing.
That's one way of putting it. But Jademore still able to recover that weapon. A little bit of an overstep towards middle. Anita, you need to get at least one there. And maybe even get out. Akita onto that side. This might be a little bit too aggressive. Anita, quick on the trigger. Jademore, second one as well. Mimi, the revive in round number 3. At least something to play around with. Jademore falls for the bait. 3 kills for Vanya. All of a sudden, numbers advantage back over G2 Gozen, but Adora makes this much more doable. 2 players of G2 tucked onto the side.
It's like I donated to Adora, right? As long as they don't repunish into elbow, which they haven't. They're backing even further away. Dark cover online for Vanya soon, but no paranoia. No util left for Mimi either. This is a tricky situation.
The wall doesn't get you anywhere. The one-way blocked off by Giant X. Jada. Let's find a frag here, but Mimi and Vanya up for it. 4 kills for Vanya. Round number 9. G2 are not falling that easily, but the weapons are taken out of the equation. 3 players down. And the ultimate invested from Mimi.
Yeah, such an impressive bonus out of Giant X. And I'm shocked that Mimi even had the resurrection online that fast. She had to have been going through some insane ult orb farming in those first few rounds. And That's honestly what saves it. That and obviously the Vanya 4K around the chaos the res provided. So I guess a small mistakes punish. Some great delay utility there as well on the site from Anita and from Jademaw that G2 will have to remember on these buy rounds. But speaking of the buy rounds, Enva, this time perfectly coordinating the timing to get the deep deposit. And speaking of timing, Jada, they know they're farming the orbs. What do? Deny them.
Deny what G2 is trying to do. Deny what they're trying to set up, because that ultimate rotation might be crucial. Crawler spots out Anita.
Nice one way.
No early contact.
Poison's
Nice
off.
spots G2. They're getting in there. A jump! What?
Spike
Anita
down B.
shoots Mimi out of that jump peak. There is a lot of the blocking power available. Eva disregards, disrespects the molly that has been thrown there, but 15 HP on the clock only for her. Amy and Eva, aggressive fighting, counter paranoia too easily. Stop that they are approaching up their spike, still not planted. G2 has to do something.
Catch them.
You know, the GX is trying to reflood in, but Jada, this timing, once that site smoke fades, could be clean.
30 seconds.
Oh, the upshot doesn't it for Enva. Jada knows where they are. Finds the kill. 25 seconds. G2, you need to be quick. Amy porting off the side, leaves the spike, leaves Eva alone.
You know where both are. That haunt was huge.
Last player standing.
Trying to get a little bit more space. Eva short on the tap. Still an Odin. You can still spec through that side, Eva. Okay, for Jada in the end. Round number 7. Giant X are creeping closer and closer and closer, and G2 goes on. Need to have some newer ideas against that defense.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be. Vanya gets a 4K in the previous, Jada gets one in the next. From the openers to the closers, this was so well played from Giant X. And honestly, the one misstep there obviously was that attempted reposition from the Viper, right, from Anita, but she just wanted to regroup with Jada, who had ulted over, and Eva, fortunately not able to clutch out that moment, but she's the one player that was previously on Giant X, right? Knows what it's like to work with Coach Asuka, much like Amy in the Ascend days, but you can see right here her difference. And I was gonna say, we're still waiting for that G2 effect to step in, right? It's like you take these good players, you put them into a successful system, and they get elevated, right? But she's not at that boot camp with G2. And I think that's why she was stronger on Giant X right now in that 2025 season. I mean, even though Giant X went out early at GCC Seoul, she is still one of the like top 10, top 15 players individually from that tournament. It's crazy.
And I also think, like, in Giant X, she had more of a carry role compared to G2. Like, G2,
absolutely,
everyone can shoot, everyone can aim, everyone can get those multi-frags, those situations, those moments. And here, she's more in the supporting role, taking a step back for team success.
Well, G2's timeout coming to a close here.
Shadows trap.
See what the change-ups look like. A little bit more directive at mid-challenge this time, not allowing that deep seed of Enva or Adora. The shots to the smoke, though, connect Akita, that star player, dimmed down just a bit.
I have them.
Amy has been spotted. I mean, has been called out by Enva. A little bit of disregard for that operator. Jademaw stops even more approaching.
Yeah, not much traction here on this eco. The trend continues. The Giant X just keeping a lid on it. The weak point is Adora here. Just in such a fragile position, like having to hold on to the space. Or, if you look at it, see Jademaw now realizing, wait, spawn has been left open. Jada as well, now refocusing. So Jademaw can focus on Link. And they're starting to wind their web on the G2 side. They just need to finish the job, and Vanya has kicked it off.
And look where Akita is standing in spawn. Enva has the frag, but Akita right behind them. Vanya might have a timing here, but Adora faster on the trigger. Look at Akita. Creeping closer.
30 seconds
might
left.
be behind Enva within the next few seconds, and then the A side is open because Jademaw rotated away from that position, has no support. Shot into the back of the head. Jademaw needs to be quick. But the spike is already in motion over to the A side. There is a plant inside for G2 Gozen.
And if it wasn't, maybe if it wasn't the Sage, that cross would have been impossible with the Odin on the other side. So now you're on a site, you have an op, have double flashes and a slow, but Mimi no weapon in hand is gonna have to hope But someone comes directly here on the close angle.
You need to get that slow off, right? If you die having that slow up in hand, this is gonna be a huge problem for the G2 Gozen. And Mimi knows that. Already hovering it. The utility is more important, actually, than getting a frag right now. Because you're stalling it down. A lot of pressure onto Akita. Converting that 10th round for G2 Gozen. Close range angle. For Mimi trying to fight into the smoke, baiting for Akita, baiting for the op, and she gets a shot in the spike, and sticking down faster and faster. You need to get onto this one. Giant X G2 gets that round, converts it over from a lurk of Akita, combined with what Mimi was doing there. What a masterclass from G2.
And you look back at the usually spotless Giant X Eco Nile record. And there was one round on Split, and there's been one round on Corrode. And that's where the momentum, the wind starts to shift, right? And Giant X in the past, once they get that final win, that pressure of G2 being on match point, find that initiative. And Coach Oscar wants that line drawn in the sand sooner. Final timeout being taken. Again, the first team to take both of them, much like they did over on Split. We know G2 will be saving this one until the OT or bust round, and coming into this next, looking at the funding, likely to see a tour de force out of Enva. And honestly, don't quite know what Jada and Anita are going to go for, because it is this half-buy sort of situation. Hopefully Coach Oscar will have an idea in mind into that regard. Amy, attack side operator should be spicy. I mean, again, that round was well played for Giant X from the get-go. I didn't like Adora giving up that mid space, right? The top mid line, because it opened up both of the spawn avenues, and you saw Jade Maul and Jada struggling to juggle who would pick up that space, and by then it was a bit too late. And now G2 starting out again.
Saved weapons in the tour de force. There is no investment from Giant X other than that.
Smart. A full buy next round, no matter how you spin it.
And if you get like 1 or 2 frags, that round is suddenly even again. And on your equipment, that's fairly possible, honestly.
All right, Amy. I was gonna say, we've seen Enva hit insane shots like that. Now you've added to the tally. The jump peaks are never safe in this lobby. Speaking of the other opper on the other side, she almost got a similar one. Falls short of punishing Eva, which would have been huge because she's one off the Nightfall. And they're trying to fight for that A-main orb.
Trying to be aggressive, trying to get Enva into position, but she's been pushed off. 3 players of G2 Gozen into that small area. Mimi caught by surprise, but Amy has the angle. Has to trade for her. Adora on the side, you have to be in a good position. You have to bring your team up for the task. No frags, it's not doable. Simply for her. Just overrun, and G2 crossing over to round number 11.
And that's the second time we've seen disconnection on this B anchor. And that's something that needs to be addressed.
One enemy remaining.
For the time being, again, this was kind of a half investment because of those saved weapons. And Jade Maul, obviously, it's a pretty price tag on that Odin, even with the money. Invest into the future, invest in the next to keep G2 off a match point. This is another map that's gonna come down to the wire, right? Whether it's the 13-11 of the upper bracket semifinals or OTs to come like the first map. We don't know. And speaking of not knowing, Jade Maul should avoid. Ooh, there's 2.
You can't avoid. You have to fight. There's 1. But Vanya closes it out, and that's a disaster for Giant X at this point. You're at 11 and 7. You need to find something. That reaction time, like, I want someone to stop those reaction times from
Center of the forehead.
and Amy here.
And
That's insane.
It's so funny that Vanya doesn't pick up the Odin. Eva's like, let me just stay on the Vandal right now. And Amy now, from the op to a possible tour de force coming into the next. I mean, it is just do or die this round for Giant X. And we saw them perform with this round style on
Enva.
Split, but this is, yeah, dangerous. Are you
Attacked.
alive?
Low, 27 HP. G2 Gozen beating up the pace here. Trying to get Akita into a position. But Still moving off. Noise cancel, slow down, and movement to the other side. Adora in mid. Might have timing here, but Akita shuts it down. Splits the map into two.
Okay. Dora. Down means no overdrive. Ult's heavily favoring G2. Probably not going to be afraid to invest them once they clear out this B main space because it would lock in that map point to go 2-0 in the series. And here we go. Akita, Dimensional Drift is the first step.
Yeah, Jada needs to be aggressive. Needs to be fast. Needs to be aggressive. But Mimi has that crack. Ult shut now because you need the flashes to enter the site. Time is on the trade, but nullified by Mimi's ultimate. It's fast. It's in position. Needs to be a turret for this one, but Vanya breaks it down. Vanya breaking their ankles. GX has nothing to stand on. Has nothing for that next round. Enva saving the AWP. G2 will chase this one. And there's nothing really you can do. Just run away, Enva. Try to bring it to the next. A match point up for G2.
Oh, they know where she is. Akita on the hunt. Amy on the hunt. Don't quite think we'll make it in time. Even with her 27 HP, but that round's difficult because you mentioned G2 was going to invest those ultimates, right? Dimension Drift literally used just to nullify Jada. Oh no. Oh, that's a nasty shot to have missed, but back to the round. I mean, we finally saw as well Anita, right? Find a kill on B, get out unscathed, untraded, and then the resurrection comes through. It's just like, it's that similar nature to we mentioned what happened in the first half, right? Where they're running out of rounds to find the answer and they're stuck.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I think I've seen Giant X in that sort of slump as well in a series that I've casted, right? We didn't see it against KC yesterday. They were consistently innovating and it always worked.
There's consistently something new to the table for Giant X, but here it feels very one-dimensional. But talking about something new, Adora pulls down the ultimate, but immediately G2 is like, okay, we're not dealing with this. We are not trying to fight it. We are just retreating. We are just resetting the entire round, and they wasted an ultimate into main. Vanya has a peek. Vanya fights Anita. Mid-split available. G2. A map for the taken. Jademore up and goes, trying to fight it, but Vanya too quick on the trigger. Enva's getting out. But no real option but to fight, but to stay on the side, to counter what G2 goes and is trying to force in there. The wall slows it down, and G2, a spike plant goes down.
This is the G2 flow state, and it's going to be so hard to interrupt that stage wall as well. Hurdling them back in towards Amy and this operator, Adora. Only a Spectre right hand gets cleared as well.
And Amy has the op angle for that as well. It's all onto Jada. 1 versus 5. If you want to be a hero, you have a chance here. Not just a flash. Finds a crack onto Akita. All of a sudden, that's doable. Jada has a triple kill. 1v2. This would be the biggest dodge we had in Game Changers up until now, but Mimi denies it. Paradise denied for Jada in the end. 13-7, Corrode belongs to G2 goes, and we are going on to the home ground. We are going on to Breeze for a potential decider already.
And this is where Drew Spark imagined Breeze being in the veto process, right? We mentioned the risks of not picking it up on map 1, picking into split over Breeze, but it will be that perfect cherry on top. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, right? There was a pick your poison for Giant X between Abyss and between Breeze, and they had to lean into Breeze. We'll have to see if they were prepared for it, but for now, one final look at Corrode, right? It's difficult, right? It feels like all the players that we needed to see step up just had average levels of performance, while G2 was getting into that prime, that peak form that Amy knew they were capable of coming into this series.
And there were just too many little oversights over to the side of Giant X. I think the biggest swing round here is that lurk from Akita. Like, going through the entirety of spawn, suddenly being behind Enva, and in a 2 versus 4, G2 goes and turns around the entire round. That Thrifty turns everything on its head. And there were like multiple rounds where G2 was down. They were out. Basically, that round was gone. And all of a sudden, Mimi had a mid-round idea, called something, and in a 2 versus 5, G2, nobody knows how, came back. It's just like absolute magic from them.
And so many of these close clutches as well that Giant X were trying and could not finished, right? You look back at that moment, you look back at the Jade Maw as well from Enva, and Enva this map was insane with that Odin. She was always the finisher, and that's kind of the role that she's started to be known as, right? She can get away with ballistics without any punishment, whether it's early or late into the round.
Yeah, it's early or late into the round, doesn't matter, because in the end, there's always that one call that can flip around everything for both of those teams. But right now, G2 is just one step ahead of what Giant X is trying to do. They analyzed their mistakes on Corrode, and Giant X said, we should have had this map. G2 said, no, we are in control. That's our map, and we're gonna take it home this time as well. Breeze is their home ground. They're living there, and they want to close this one out in 3 maps.
Absolutely. But with that, obviously, playing a best of 5 marathon, not a sprint, the players are going to need a breather. Us, from the chaotic comebacks that have been attempted, need a breather. So we're going to throw it to a quick break, and when we come back, the series, the lower finals, continues.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Wingman will what want.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Wingman World while wanting a well won break. Vamos!
what stood out from the FMCL players among the other players, other options we had, is basically the fact that some of their players already played together in previous teams, like Enva with Jade, Jada with Enva, Adora with Jade, etc. And they all wanted to play again together, like they did their own trials process, etc. And they chose each other, so that was really important for us, the way they spoke about each other, etc. You could tell that they wanted to play together, and it was really important for us, because with no time to make trials, no time to make an actually really proper selection process, that was the main reason why we thought it would be a great idea. And definitely you can tell by how things are going that it was a good decision. They keep trusting each other, they are working really hard, and we also wanted to bring Anita into this roster because we thought she would be like a key player to improve the sailing of the roster, and also add certain flexibility in the potential comps, in potential play styles, because with this meta where double duelist is really good, but double smoker is also pretty good, comps with chamber etc are also really good. So we thought that Anita would be like a really key player in the structure, and in the end it's working really well. Everybody is trusting each other a lot, and this is one of the things that surprised me the most, is how fast we are able to implement things, because the main thing from this roster is that everybody is willing to do whatever it's needed for the team, and they are all super focused on playing as a team. Nobody is trying to play her own game, they're all trying to play as a team and adapt to the structure, and they have a super good trust in each other and the potential as a roster. We lost so many games at the beginning of the stage, because also we didn't have much time to prepare, so a lot of our structure was still shaky, and they still trusted each other, and that's the way we recovered. And they were 100% sure that with a bit more of time and with more of preparation, we will start to close the games and win games. And that's basically what happened. We managed to sneak into playoffs, even if it was hard. We made it, and then with the right time and preparation, we are slowly getting much more consistent. And everybody is, as I say, trusting so much the structure and each other, and also the decisions that Jade and I are making in terms of compositions, etc. They are willing to play anything as long as it's good for the team, and that's making our job much easier. That we can start playing comps we easily understand, and we can really quickly implement all the stuff in not so much time, and all the protocols. So that's I think those are the main things, to be honest, and those are the main reasons why we are here: the trust and the faith they have on the project.
Asuka had a lot to say about his new roster, I feel like, and they're delivering, right? Third place already, and all of his premonitions have become true, right?
No, absolutely. And we wanted to ask that question because we knew from the Kaisering interview a few days ago what that trial process looked like, or we should say lack of a trial process, since it was just player interviews. It was those intangibles. And I'm glad that what he said resonates with what Jade Moss said, saying that this is the best environment she has been in team-wise, right? Like, everybody trusts in everybody. It's that mutual foundation that has uplifted everyone, and that is, I agree, irreplaceable. But speaking on that, right, I feel like coming in this next map, we need to see what he mentioned is that Anita flexibility. I feel like she struggled on Crowd on that Viper. She was fine on Split, but she is stepping into the Yoru now with the mirror compositions we're likely going to see that could possibly end this series. And to me, that has been one of her strongest roles, ironically. And I think that does, again, speak to the flexibility they wanted to have on this team. And it was so powerful on that bind up against KC, but now it's coming into Breeze.
Yeah, and it's coming into like the G2 Gozen home ground. They lost it once this year against Carmine Corp. Everybody else they have beaten on this map. And I don't know, like if we're talking about G2 Gozen, we can't skip Breeze. That's their map, that's their home ground. They had like this huge streak over years not beaten on this map in particular, and it coming to an end doesn't change anything for me personally.
Well, I mean, they trusted in Breeze being the closer for a series in that best of 3 versus Gentlemates yesterday, and it burned them 8-13, going up against the same mirror composition. This is the first mirror composition we're going to see in this best of 5. Ideally, as we jump into Agent Select, if nothing has changed. And again, the pressure really is on after what we saw in Crowd for every single player on that Giant X side to step up, because a lot of the 1-on-1 engagements just weren't going their way either, unlike Split, where we were seeing those effective trades or just those outright W's. And, ooh, wait a minute. We are getting a change. Adora, previously running the Neon, right, Akamos?
That's old school. That's an old school change. Adora on the Jet instead of the Neon makes... Does that make sense?
It's also the Omen, maybe.
It's also the Omen instead of the Astra.
Yeah, wait, these are
like
some...
very back to basics changes.
I think the switch up there, honestly, to me, I'm thinking back to... NAVCL cast I did a few days ago, where the Omen was utilized as this crazy defensive anchor positionally, right? You didn't know what angle they were going to be holding over towards that A site in particular, right? The backside box, orange, the up front side box. It was so effective, and Jada being that standalone anchor, I think it could really help. And I think it's a trade-off, right? When you don't have that aggressiveness from the Neon necessarily that can dive fully in, or be as supported, I should say, as the Neon with a relay bolt self-sufficient, you need that paranoia to set up the Jet entry.
You need to set up something for that Jet entry. Jet is the duelist that needs a little bit more catering, a little bit more support, a little bit more help. And in that current meta, that's why she has fallen off for most of the teams. But it's still the straightforward agent. It gives you this verticality from both of these comp changes, right? You have a very vertical change that they are doing here with the Omen and the Jet. And I am so intrigued on how those changes are gonna look.
I mean, when was the last time we saw Breeze? It was a loss up against Twisted Minds in the knockout stage, 7-13. So they know that something isn't working when you're losing to one of the first teams eliminated out of playoffs. So I do think this is the right call. We said they were going to pick their poison. They had to be prepared for this map, no matter how you spun it. And this is that preparation. So here we go. Heavy stack from G2 over towards A, and they're going to challenge it directly.
Yeah, and gonna fight into Amy. Spots that is effective use. Immediately onto the pull of the Astra. A lot of utility invested for G2, but they're all rotated over. A lot of stacking over to that side. Anita doesn't spot Vanya. She gets the entry. A trade out there from Jakemore. Akita on the fight as well, but Enva is there for the taking, is there for the backing of her team. All of a sudden, G2's hold is falling apart. It might be that Giant X have learned from what Gentlemates has been doing yesterday, beating G2 here as well. Movement from Ebba, doesn't spot Enva, but gets the kill there as well. Retaking from G2 might work, but it doesn't in the end because a double from Adora stops the momentum that they were building.
The comfort picks come through. I loved the decision as well to fight past that toxic screen, but you get too complicit, you get too safe, and suddenly G2's knocking on your door back sight. That is the perfect way to kick things off. Right? It is going to come down to, I think, the little later stages more than anything to me personally, because we also saw them on Corrode win that initial pistol, but all in all, great indication that they aren't defeated after that Corrode loss.
They're still up, running and kicking. And the full stack over towards the B side will be immediately used by Giant X to plant that spike. They will make this one fairly quick, I think. Like, if you're not spotting anyone on the drone, if there's no aggression from G2 with that comp, you can be fairly sure that they are somewhere else. And it's an interesting buy coming off here from GX. Like, you have a lot of wiggle room for that next round. Basically having a full buy here with 2 Guardians, 2 Vandals, and a Vandal bought up by Jademar.
All right, we're saying right now for Jademar, is she going to pick up the Odin in the 3rd round? I know it's Breeze, but she did go for the Sheriff. What do you think?
It's Jademar, obviously.
It's Jademar, yeah. But that's Jade Mo. I think that means you're saying yes. But we got to see if they're going to hold on to these weapons. It looks like G2 trying to just die to Spike, deny the orbs, which is smart. Jada has a sheriff, though. She doesn't care about bringing this weapon into the next, so her death will at least lend an ult orb towards that from the shadows, but everyone else, safe passage.
Yeah, and G2 is just trying to execute themselves on the Spike. No ult orbs have been given over to Giant X, but they are more than happy to save their buy-up. And what's my biggest concern here for G2? You haven't seen any of the weapons. You don't know what's approaching you over from the other side. You don't know what Giant X have board up. So you have to buy full shields, first of all, everywhere, because there could be an outlaw. And Giant X basically has a full buy, aside from that one sheriff that they are buying up. So there are some problems maybe for G2 here, because like the buy is very good and G2 hasn't spotted anything of that.
And this is interesting. On Corrode, they kind of supplemented the bonus because it was so ramshackle. Here, it's like they bought up just enough to still have full buys into the next, right? Like you mentioned from that sheriff, and also an additional guardian picked up, right? Since it was 2 sheriffs last round for GX. But again, if the A side isn't failing, try again. Akita forced out, but Vanya isn't.
Vanya finds the first strike. That's a great arrow. Needs to be destroyed by Giant X. Numbers advantage over for G2, but the buy still looks very potent. Over from the Spanish roster. Mimi finds a kill, finds a second for her as well. Everything is falling apart for Giant X, and G2 was there on the retake. Not even giving them the chance to plant the spike. A flawless round, even though GX had a very good equipment going into this one.
Yeah, GX got, I think, a touch predictable, right? First 2 rounds you download. They're going A, they're fighting for this backside, so what do? Place a triangle of trust. The strongest support structure in engineering, and it delivers, right? Props up the team, gets the flawless, and there we go.
The power of friendship, the most powerful gravitation in this world.
What's stronger, a triangle or friendship? The world may never know.
the triangle of friendship, perfect foundations for every building.
Eh? Finally going B, right? The A spell's broken. See what happens off this drone.
Oh, and that's a good TP into for Anita, but she immediately gets taken out by Amy. Trade off Enva, but the damage is done. No more flashes in their hands. Giant X, they're trying to take a little bit more space over towards the backside, but that's hard without the Euro at the helm. Eva's a drone. Mimi spots some faces in the backside. Jade Moore down. Duel of the IGLs goes to Mimi once more. Eva trying to flood it. Adora faster on the trigger. Great. Akita makes 2. Brings this one onto a 1 versus 2. Jada all on her own. No utility to support herself. The next smoke is coming up in 14 seconds. Fake TP for Mimi. Brings this one to some more problems. Jada falls down in the end to a 1v2. Dimensional Drift ready for the next round.
Oh, and that fake TP was everything, right? It set the seeds of doubt, prevented Jada from hard clearing Mimi, while also having that worry in the back of their mind that Vanya is sticking. And I like that GX didn't slow down despite that initial entry from Anita being taken down, right? Adora supplements the space, takes the backside, but the trade's just always favoring G2 up until that 1v2 was won. So tied to a piece. We know that Giant X wasn't going to go down without a fight, and this is the round to answer that call. Showcase it's not going to be a blowout all in the G2 breeze. And they're going back to B. I mean, they got in. They kept fair numbers. They got past the side anchor Amy. Just what do they change next?
And Mimi is just showing off right now. 6-1. Great start to that map, and the snowballing Yoru, always a problem. Again, Anita ports into this one. Is alone. Adora not fast enough on the trade. Not fast enough on the double swing. Anita falling down, some unlucky circumstances for her. The double swing into elbow, expected from Jade Moore. Is there for the fight. Breaks this one aggressive for the body block. Over from Mimi, brings that kill over to Anita. Numbers advantage, secured by G2, and they're going to flood the side perfectly. Enva, quick on the trigger, brings this one back. Doable for Giant X. Enva finds the kill, finds the double. Mimi from the main as well. Third round, G2 is up on their homegrown territory.
And again, it's strong starts, but loose endings for Giant X. In that round, we saw the change, right, that I wanted to see in that B post. They pushed up a little bit. They tried to shorten the leash. the G2 was on in that retake, not give them as much room. But G2 broke through, they frolicked, they got up close and personal, and still won those engagements. So we're still coordinated every step of the way, too. So now money reset. Enva the only one here. Enva with that Bulldog in hand. And Mimi, Eco Killer, of course. Outlaw. Primed ready to go at least towards A main. Quick mid-door reposition if desired. Let's see what GX has in the little Eco Scrapbook chapter.
Mimi is going up. Very aggressive. First frag into her pockets. Dimensional Drift charging once again. But they're still trying to fight into this one. Anita is down 0-5. Not the best start to this map up until now. Dora just waiting for that swing. No utility to clear the angle.
Drone. Would be the investment to set up a Dora. Disrespect Mimi, but respect shown in kind. G2 get out of the way.
Getting out of the way. Like, planting the spike should be fine for G2 Gozen, but they still want to deny this in some way. Trying to fight aggressively. Enva gets a trade kill for herself, but that's all that Giant X is getting down. Spike has been planted. Jada all on her own. Falls to the hands of Akita. A triple for her as well. The double duelist for G2 Gozen works out too perfectly, even on defense. Akita free for herself. Closes the gap to Mimi, who's even top fragging in this situation.
I mean, I was squinting at the minimap trying to figure out where Akita found that first kill from. Like, it's from back orange, like through the pyramids to somebody front sight, and I think the toxic screen was up. We're starting to see why Breeze is Akita's favorite map. And, yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, and it continues that Anita is 0-5. This was supposed to be the map that she turned things around on, right? This is a strong role for her, but she's getting first blooded. She's the victim of these early engagements and the backstabs. It's a difficult position to be in.
I mean, it's okay. If you're getting in and the Dora immediately finds a trade kill there, right? You have the side control and the Dora this time quicker on the trigger, but Mimi has her back, has the support. Fights down elbow, pushing Giant X back, entering their territory. G2 not afraid of anything right now.
Yep, that op we saw on Corrode while saving the weapon, the sample chapter of the full storybook to come. Upgrading and showcasing you cannot go A, finding another duelist in her wake.
Amy has a perfect timing, but Anita, this time it doesn't work out. This time Anita doesn't fall. Doesn't falter. Mimi still tries to re-clear elbow. How quick are you in the op? Not quick enough for Enva, it turns out. And GX has great positioning. Might be getting closer. If Eva doesn't have anything to say in this one, no arrow for her, so information denied. Vanya on the back step needs to be fast because the spike is ticking down already. No health diffusers inside. Eva needs to check all the corners, needs to clear this one out, but Enva tucked into this one remains unchecked. Vanya has a timing onto her. That frag will be easy, but oh my god, Vanya. Vanya making everyone on Giant X nervous for a second. Only one person surviving in the end.
And it's rounds like that that show why Vanya was still positive and with a 90% cast in that Gentlemaids game, right? A little blip that was brought up earlier. It's because she can keep them kind of corralled, right? Look at the impact that it's having, right? Light shields. And Adora opting instead of having a Vandal and Light Shield to pop the Blade Storm in its stead. And that does, I think, energize me for the possibilities of overwhelming these off-site angles that G2 have been utilizing on A to be super, super oppressive, namely Vanya. It's the first time that we're also seeing Eva towards this side of the map. Curious to see how it'll stick.
Yeah, 3 players. Trying to fight that fight proactively. Vanya is getting out of that angle. Adora flashed. They're looking for Vanya. They're searching for the Astro there. It's a great crossfire for G2 Gozen, but Vanya now left all on her own on pyramids. Double kill for Anita, getting back into that game. Slowly but surely the fragging turned up for her. And it's a great movement for Adora, great timing for her. Akita finds another kill, finds some consolation. Her and Amy might be able to take this one back. Again, another 2v4, Giant X! You can't let those advantages slip away from you! Akita knows where she is, knows where Anita is. She has the headshot, sprays her down, holds down most one, Praise gets the kill, Akita down, round number 4 secured with 4 kills by Anita.
And within 2 rounds from 0-5 to 6-5, the link up with Adora has been so impressive, right? When one duelist fell, the other was picking up the mantle. And I'm glad that we actually did get to see that final head-to-head between these two duelists, right? Akita versus, in that case, Anita. But we're seeing the full flexibility finally in this Akita kit, right? I love the double duelist as well maps more than anything paired alongside Mimi. It's what's made this so tricky. And Akita as well, back on Corrode, right? She was the one flanking, and now she's doing it here on Breeze too, punishing the lack of a chamber, lack of a sentinel that can hold down that flank space. And honestly, there's still one player who we did see step up with the Blaze Storm in that particular round. And I am waiting to see answer back consistently, right? And that is Adora.
And I think Akita has like a very, very interesting arc over the last year. The improvement alongside Mimi makes her shine even more, but Adora has been consistent, has been on the international stage as well, playing in the Last Chance Americas qualifier, only losing to MIBR, who were eventually one of the best teams in the world, as it turned out. It feels like this one is gonna be a nail-biter as well, right, Zobi?
Yep, and again, it's going to be if GX can close, or if they're going to be stuck in that we have to make a comeback run. Because that was the story towards the end of Split. That was the story since halftime on Corrode. I want to see them end up at the half, right? It was 6-6, 4-8. And this will be the time to do so. Not allow this G2 timeout turnaround. And G2, look at this, right? Instead of holding, giving up sight and playing the retake from the get-go, they put really deep anchors into mid, and they have the double duelist stacked on the same site.
Yeah, but the double duelist stack gets rerouted. Amy has double there. Eva and her holding down the side. Akita finds the lurk. Catches out that one player from Giant X, and it seems like the adaptations G2 is making after the timeout are working. Anita all on her own needs to find something. An angle to start with. 1 versus 4. This one might be too much for her to handle. Everyone's looking at one angle. G2 now knows where she is, but it's a Euro, so you can't be too sure. Pink's going out. She's scared of window, and the peak is coming from there. Reposition towards main. 30 seconds left.
30 seconds left.
I mean, still 1 gate crash, still 2 flashes. It's the perfect kit to isolate these fights, but position known. This is hard.
Yeah, flashes onto the side. Mimi converts that last frag. G2 after the timeout, coming back into this one. The reposition of the double duelist combo onto one side allows for Eva and Amy to play on the same side, and both of those just locking down B.
And we've seen those two playing on the site previously, right? But Amy was getting bullied. There wasn't that trade factor because Eva was playing her life, was playing for, okay, the post plant, like corralling once the duelists got back over to her, right? We saw the shock darts invested for chip damage. We saw the late drone reclears, that sort of performance. So her putting her life on the line a little bit earlier truly gave Amy that breathing room to frag out, to play around pillar. And that's exactly what she needed, was that lack of punishment from this double dive that Giant X has. And speaking of double dive, we're diving through the tuck screen mid, we're diving in through mid doors, and Mimi is on the other side.
But she's ready, Dimensional Drift ready, could be using it for some information gain. You know where Adora is. You know this one, she still finds Mimi. Hunter's Fury has been taken down as well, Banya. It's a trade kill, Hunter's Fury stopped. They're afraid that someone's gonna push this one even more aggressively. On the side, Adora needs to find something here, but no trades available. G2 is just running over them, running away after the timeout, and forcing everything out of Giant X.
And call-wise, that round was perfect from Giant X, right? They get the side through the mid-door fight. They get past that Hunter's Fury, but it was Vania's ability to stay alive. And then unfortunately, just the little late trade there from Enva, at least attempted. And again, it's Vania we're talking about, right? They all converged onto that point, and it just did not matter. She defied it. And that's what's allowed G2 that safety net of 6th, and Giant X again now battling to at best Taya, so they won't get that lead at the half. And with a pit down, feels like it's inevitable that they could get the lead.
Amy and Mimi fighting into this one. Aggressive goal. Mimi! What? No way she finds a Dora in this one. Somehow, somewhere in between the green clouds, Mimi finds an angle, finds an opening to bring G2 up on top once again. Securing a halftime lead. Flashed out, Mimi's dead, Enva and Anita, there's a way into the pit. Not allowing G2 to exit this one once more. Spike will be going down on that A side.
Yeah, that Hunter's Fury, if you heard it, narrowly clipped the heels of Amy, down to 14 HP. Maybe it was just the extra trophy on top, and now it's that standard protocol for Giant X, which is to take backside space, get in the faces of G2, and Vonnie's been the only one that's really able to defy it to this degree.
That's just a trade at this point. Numbers advantage and the pit still there. For Giant X, they have a lot to play around. Jade Moore, up forward position. Arrow is going in, destroyed. They have zero clue, they have zero information. Jade Moore, a trade, but Vanya still in that pit. Jada finds that last one, 6 and 5. G2 goes in. You're not running away with this one, even if your IGL finds an impossible entry kill within the green clouds. That's great.
Wow, look at that, the timing, the double swing from Anita and from Enva. Very, very well done in how they cleared that pit out. And now, I mean, we're still sitting on tipping ultimates for the side of G2, particularly geared around more retake with the Dimensional Drift and that Cosmic Divide. So I'm surprised to see Vanya this close and personal for the first time on this A-side anchor. She is usually super towards orange, and now she's out in the open.
Yeah, Kita has been spotted. Ultimate denied. Vanya pushed away, pushed out of those angles. It's a 5v5 retake. G2 wants to play this together. A difference between 6 and 7 rounds makes a lot up here. Akita, headshot.
Spike planted. I'm out of here.
Finds Anita, finds the other duelist. Adora pushed over by Akita as well. A double for the young gun of G2 goes. Never swings around with her. 2 versus 5. Needs to be converted by Giant X. Immediately, the ult has been thrown down by Vanya, but Enva makes this even more possible. Keeps this round alive. Ever 1 HP, closes at 7 to 5. G2 secures a halftime lead by a threat.
The adrenaline, the fact that elimination is hanging on the line for Giant X finally kicked in halfway in, and they were able to at least make it a respectable half, still trailing by 2. But this pistol would be everything. They have yet to win both pistols on a map, and this would be the time to kick off the reverse sweep in the best of 5 lower finals. But we've seen it, the players for G2 looking informed, looking primed, disrespecting Giant X.
Has G2 ever been reverse swept?
I don't know. They already broke their little 1-3 curse for the lower finals that they've been stuck with like last year. Well, let's see what they can do now.
Getting reverse swept would be something new at least. And double doors push from them. But Giant X is rerouting this one, being right behind them. What? They're playing Ringle around the Rosies at this point. They're gonna hear the door. G2 knows what's up. But do they expect 3 players coming through double door at this rate by Giant X? Spike has been planted for the backside. Anita has an up forward position, finds that first frag. Akita trades in the great scheme of things. Vanya on the pyramid, also one for her, brings G2 up front. Anita at least able to find another constellation kill for her. Vanya is fighting, Vanya is working her way into this one. A right click for the triple. The 1 versus 3 for Anita. It needs to be magnificent for her. Tucks away into the corner, but Amy falls on the trigger. 8 and 5, G2. This might be the dagger.
And the pistol punch that Giant X have gotten hit with round after round. Map after map comes through yet again. And I like the creativity. I like the immediate round-the-world play through revolving door, but the answer was there for G2. Take the deep backside space, plant for that instead, and they played it to perfection. I thought for a second that Anita was going to hold her own, find a multi-kill of her own that flipped around, kept a lid on it, but G2, keep it out. Keep it up. Keep the lead, and this is Breeze again. Can't really force up a practical weapon, and speaking of forcing up, G2, here, rifle in Akita's hands.
Mimi has been spotted, but this is just a decoy. And Giant X knows this immediately. Decisive rotation over to the other side. Akita, what's Anita? Finds that frag. Instant headshot. Onto the opposing Yoru. Giant X 4 players on the retake, but just classics in hand. This is a rough portion of the map, a rough situation for yourself. And Akita makes swift work of that together with Vanya. In the end, it's a quad kill for G2's youngest piece. 9 and 5. G2 just running away with it. And I mean, Giant X, you need to wake up now or never.
Absolutely, and I mean, obviously G2 are wide awake, and it's that age-old question of like, if every team in the world was at their full strength playing 100%, which team would win? Just on paper, and G2 is one of those that is the highest of highs when you look at each and every individual in the server. And we're starting to reach that apex here on one of their best maps, undeniably. And Giant X still only have 1 timeout left, so this round, huge, cannot lose to a bonus conversion.
The smoke is going down, and Vanya all of a sudden in a great position. Anita 0% ready for it. Never expected that G2 is gonna pull off such a move, but Anita goes onto the side. Adora finds a double there on the elevated position, but that's not enough to stop the onslaught that G2 is trying to execute on that A side. 19 frags by Akita. She's just running all over Giant X players, and now it's a 3 versus 2. You might just save here.
Can't mention how devastating it would be to lose to a bonus, to let G2 get up to double digits, so they're going for this.
But they're all having Vandals. G2 has perfect weapons. They basically are on a full buy right now. No more bonuses. No flashes for GX. Who fight this one aggressively. Amy has one. Ever on the backstep. Jademore. The IGL needs to have a step up here, but plays against the utility of Vanya, tucked into a corner. The stick not coming through. Jademore, aggressive fight, and Vanya clutches it. Double digits. Double rounds of Giant X. G2 goes in 1 step closer to the grand finals.
And it's just peculiar, right? Yeah, the Yoder has a way out, has that gate crash, but you know it's a bonus. And fighting through like that just completely knocks the wind out of Giant X and takes what's been a really powerful player in those late rounds out of commission in Anita. So Giant X, interestingly enough, this is the first time out taken, right? Finally not being the one beaten to losing both. We'll have that second one in the bank up towards that map point. And this is the cyclic nature that we've been in every single map. It's they take this time out, they fail to keep G2 off a match point. And on map 1, we saw them get that late resurgence, get to OT and fall. We couldn't see them finish that style of comeback in the previous map. So it's like, okay, what card are we gonna draw this time off the stack, Akamas?
That's the big question. What are you taking out of your playbook, right? And Giant X, in my opinion, you need to have something a little bit more telegraphed on your defensive setups. It was their big strength against Kamakop, in my opinion. Changing of defensive setups, switching around what you were trying to do there. And overall, I'm not really sure if you're up to the task against G2 Goes. And Mimi's mid-rounding seems so insane right now.
Okay. And it's... At this point, doesn't even feel like mid-rounding aside from that pistol, right? It's like the initial plan is working. G2. See, this is the initial plans, right? I do not know. It does not connect onto Adora. It's a Bucky for Breeze, but they're going to avoid it altogether. An aggressive B main fight. The lean is logical, but they're leaning into a stack. Look at this. 3 players around Orange scaling up to mid-door.
Yeah, but the stun is perfect. Enva. Akita on the flick. A double for her. Make it 3. Overdrive ready. Round 11. Coming on the horizons for G2. On the back of 22 frags in 15 rounds for Akita. That Neon, just insane. Ever on the drone. Sees nothing. But they should know that something is up there in the middle. Jake is up with that smoke that has been thrown. Adora doesn't get anything. A quad for Akita. Vanya has the last 11 and 5. G2, 2 rounds away from closing this one out.
Wow. 4 rounds in a row. Starting to sweep Giant X under the rug, but saw a little glimpse before the replays of an Odin operator combination coming online. It's that kind of all-in buy that has kickstarted the system. Jade Maw selling the Odin, just fine. Adora, I like the up purchase. 2 off, right? From the blades, so you keep the gun, it'll be there next, or maybe even into this round, but
Poison orb emitting.
caution.
And Adora whiffs on the first track. That kill would be so impactful. Anita makes 1. But immediate trade coming up from Vanya. Up, overrun by Akita. Jada has the trade, but the damage is down. Both duelists out of the game for both teams. Enva, what can you do? What can you throw into the execute of G2 Goes in all 3 players there? They're looking for you. They're looking for something. Spike has been dropped. Enva makes short work out of this one. Eva has been spotted, no utility in hand. Trying to get out of there, trying to find any angles to bring this one back. A kill for Amy, 1 versus 2. In the end for Eva, and she falls to Jade Maw. It has been a round where Giant X in the end prevails because Enva is the best player on that side in that moment.
Performs as the anchor, and the teammates are there to back her up. Beautifully timed rotation. We mentioned again that Giant X surge is dangerous. It's kept G2 off a match point for now. Can it be sustained? First point on the board for this half. 1 off Blades, 1 off Hunter's Fury, Dimensional Drift. Like, they are charging up their ults, right? To counter that ult cycle, that overlap G2 is gonna have, but Anita, you were in this position before.
There.
Pushes up towards top mid. Finds straight more. We've seen there. Amy has 1. Immediate trade. Right trick for Akita will be impactful. Spots the Euro clone. Knows that someone's there. Knows that the Euro might be up behind it. Vanya tucked into the corner. Enva not respecting this one. All of a sudden, G2, 2 players up. Oh, Akita, the silent drop. Might be deadly. Might spot Anita from behind Jada. Have you got it? Have you got the momentum and the timing? Mimi spotted. 1 kill for her. Ports out, and G2 needs to reassess the situation. But Akita already on the backstep. Right behind Anita. That kill confirmed as well. B side open, and Jada has some work for her.
Yeah. Switch from the Asher to the Omen. Has struggled to find her footing on this map. This clutch would be everything, but Akita not only backstabbed Anita, but is getting ready to show the same exact treatment to Jada. That will put G2 Goes in on map series point right now for the potential 3-0 sweep over Giant X to rewrite history and get that rematch in the grand finals versus Gentlemates.
One enemy.
I will ask you a question. that I asked you yesterday at a similar point. Do you believe in miracles, Zobi?
With GX on the other side, yes, but I am a logical individual, and I need to see this round go their way since it's a half buy, and I need to see them do so without investing every single one of these ultimates, because they've got to ration them. They're gonna be far in between. She's gonna have a grand finale-esque approach with only one round needed. And that's a good start so far. Pit trying to force them towards this aggro line that the double duels from GX has.
A lot of map control. That's so much map control for Giant X right now. And they're gonna hear the door. And afterwards trying to commit onto that mid play. Hunter's Fury has been taking a double tag by Jade Moore thus far. Spots the second player. But nobody dies. Adora in the backstep. The timing is perfect. Finds Vanya from behind. A knife in the back. Stops the onslaught for G2 Golden, but they know that the B side might be open. They spotted Adora there. They know the Viper's Pit has been committed anyways. Mimi stays alone onto A. Everybody else is taking the B side. A decisive call for G2 makes this possible. Mimi has a duel. Finds Jademore. Again, battle of the IGLs goes Mimi's way so often. Kita another timing. It's all about timings right now for G2 Golden, and it seems like GX disconnected, hesitant.
Mimi has the longest flank to secure possibly the map, Akamusk.
Oh, the close range strike goes south for Akita, but Eva finds Enva. Something to do for it. Both GX players in that pit. Tucked into this one, Amy in the double. Makes it a 3, and oh, G2 has another matchup against Gentlemates tomorrow. Destroys the dreams of Giant X. Destroys the miracle run that they were setting up for. And in the end, G2 Golden prevails.
And this veto perfectly engineered after taking that risk of opening up on split. If it didn't go their way, I think we would have had a very different series knowing how momentum-based a team like Giant X is. And for Giant X, while they fall here, I cannot wait to see what the future holds for them. Reminder, obviously 3 slots up for grabs. It's going to be battled and bloody, I think, for this year between the top 3, top 4 in this region.
And I'm gonna be honest, like, Carmine Corp is gonna be back. Like, we're gonna be honest. They will not sit back and let that slip. They will be even more furious after that loss against Giant X yesterday. And I think Giant X, in the end, G2 is one up in especially a best of 5. Like, getting tested on all maps against possibly the best IGL of all time in EMEA. That's something you have to look out for. That's something you have to be up for the task. And Giant X today wasn't ready for it. Had a long run, had a lot of maps to play, and just ran out of steam against G2 in the end.
Absolutely. It's definitely hard to have to be that underdog time and time again. And while the pressure obviously didn't get to them, the energy definitely did. I mean, again, this is a team that has played an additional series in terms of the knockout round, has played, again, the most rounds out of any team, just the number of OTs, the number of map 3s they've had across this stage. It's super impressive. And G2, if this is what they learned from back-to-back matchups, like 2 times facing off against Giant X, I can't wait to see when the same is true for that Gentlemates game.
And this one's gonna be a banger tomorrow. Like, I think there's a possibility that this Gentlemates versus G2 matchup goes all 5 maps, because those 2 teams are so incredibly close to each other. They had a banger series with close maps and backs and forths. And G2 just happy that they are in the grand final. They don't have to claw their way back from this 30-point situation.
No, absolutely. It's a great way to kick off the season, and you saw that it was all hugs, right? I think it's definitely like summarized the rocky performance they've had this stage, and the fact that not all 5 of them do get to be there for that boot camp. But if they make this run, if they make this comeback, it makes me wonder what's going to happen when all 5 of them are in the same room. What's going to happen when all 5 of them are on the same stage, be it another, GC EMEA stage 3 grand finals or that international stage. Again, this is a team that's only been elevated by Eva's addition, and I think that addition as well kept them in so many of these precarious positions where we could have seen the comeback round for Giant X.
Yeah, there were like so many possible comebacks. You already said it, but one person that over and over denied those few comebacks is Akita, and we're gonna have her for a small interview right now.
Hi, Akita. First off, congratulations on the victory. I know it was obviously not third time the charm for Giant X. I wanted to see, we got to see y'all hugging it out, obviously, in the celebration camp. What are the vibes like? What are the feelings like after that victory and getting to go back to the grand finals?
I mean, the vibes is good. Just like yesterday, we played bad, and now we just, like, we saw that we actually played better. So, I mean, the vibes is nice. What's the question again? I forget.
Oh, that was it. That was perfect. And obviously, you guys as well had a boot camp, didn't get to have all of the players there, but you were one of the only 2 teams as well that had a boot camp at all, right? Gentlemates being another one. So I was curious, the insight, what does having a boot camp with the majority of the players in the same space do for elevating a team compared to everyone that might be split off playing from different parts of the EMEA region?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps when you're in bootcamp, because first of all, you're really focused on the bootcamp. Everything is made to make you focus on the game. Like you don't need to worry about anything else. And also you can see your mates. That's nice. Like sometimes you are being too viewed, for example, but in bootcamp you see them, so you're just more chill, I guess, and more like a family.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I like that it adds that focus, that structure for you. And for you in particular, right? You've shed off that rookie title, right? Coming into your next year, and I know the end of the year hit particularly hard for you there. I was in Seoul, and so I'm curious now. Coming into this next year, we've seen that consistency from you, and I wanted to know, like, what has allowed you think to get that confidence level up, and what are now some of your goals that this win today have helped you propelled yourself towards?
Well, it seems that I'm like really confident person. I think I lack a lot of confidence, but I try every day to tell myself I'm better, I'm the best player. That if I play my game, no one can beat me. So it's what I'm trying to do now. Just try to play my game and focus on that.
That's amazing. I know Amy said the exact same thing coming in today. It was like, we weren't playing like ourselves yesterday up against Gentlemates. And speaking of Gentlemates, obviously you get that grand finals rematch tomorrow. And now, right, you obviously beat them narrowly in the group stage, and then they beat you when it mattered in the upper finals. So what is going to be the difference, do you think, between a win and a loss tomorrow versus Gentlemates in a best of 5?
What's gonna be the difference? Like of tomorrow? Wait, I didn't understand.
Yeah. Exactly. What's gonna be different this time around facing off against Gentlemates, since this is third time you faced them this stage?
Okay, first of all, we play against Gentex. I feel like we feel the game better. We had a lot of talks, so tomorrow is gonna be, I think, a good match. And this time we're just gonna win. We're a better team.
When you're at your peak, you guys look deadly scary, so I can only imagine what tomorrow's match is going to look like. I want to let you go. Obviously, you mentioned it's been focused, it's been the grind at that boot camp, so I hope you get some rest, come in refreshed, and give us one heck of a grand finals. Thank you so much, Akita.
Thank you.
What'd you think, Akamask?
I'm thinking that G2 needs some rest and will be up for the task and will be up for the taking against Gentlemates tomorrow. Like, the confidence speaking out of Amy and out of Akita is something special. Like, those two in particular showed off that they're confident, that they want to win this. And I feel like, especially like with the ups and downs that G2 had last year, with the heartbreak they witnessed at Champs, like, we all know how this one ended, and they want to be back there. They want to win this one. I think for Mimi, it's the big goal to, let's see how long this career goes, but in the end, you want to have a second Champs title to your name, especially if you're more of an experienced, more of a veteran player. You want to take this one home before you're ending your career at some point.
No, absolutely. I mean, again, I was there. The vibes in that final press conference where they got eliminated were just so scarring, right? And especially the way they got eliminated at GCC with that overtime. And honestly, I am so glad to hear that the bootcamp, even though it's not the full 5, has been that effective. I do think it matches the G2 style, right? That structure in the bootcamp translating to the structure we see in the decision making, where they don't make those small mistakes, whether it's in eco rounds or whether it's in taking that space. Like, they have the proper response every step of the way. And with that victory, Akamask, right? They broke in the 3rd place curse, right?
Yeah, and they're back in the standings. They're back in the points. We can look at this one in a little bit because, like we mentioned, that G2 last year, because of that 3rd place finish and because of the 5th place finish in the split afterwards, had some problems in gathering some points, had some problems in qualifying for champions because they had to win in that final series. They had to beat Twisted Minds because if they had lost that grand final, Twist would be the team going to Seoul, and G2 misses out on this one. Now they're at least 2nd place in the points, fighting against Gentlemates over in that last game for some extra points, counting up their 15 plus on this one, 45 already secured for G2. And grand final tomorrow, best of 5, Gentlemates, G2. It has been a banger in the upper bracket final, and oh my god, I am so hyped to watch this one on my TV tomorrow.
No, absolutely. And honestly, I'm excited. I want to see like the side-by-side coach cams at some point because they've had some of the best reactions on both sides, especially the Gentlemate squad. It's that kind of team that like you can't help but root for, right? It's new players that have had, again, individual stories and careers, but something has clicked immediately that no one saw coming. The chemistry is there. It's like this fresh, sparky reaction versus a more stable, more slow development out of G2, and only one can prevail.
Yeah, and the immediate success of Gentlemates will prevail through the entire year. This will be an interesting lookout for those two teams through the entire year, and I know I'm making some bolder calls here maybe, because in the end, like, we don't know what we're getting through the entire year over from the side of Gentlemates, but seeing what they're doing right now has been impressive, and I want to see BarryX fighting it out against Akita, the 2 flashiest players in GC EMEA right now, and those two are gonna be head-to-head fighting for every single inch of space on this one. We are done for our commentator shift on this one. Heza and Cairo will be up for the task, up for the taking tomorrow, and yeah, so that's it from us. Thank you again that we could be a part of this one. I'm gonna leave the last few words over to you, Zoe, and yeah, have a good grand finals tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been a great stage so far. Again, we had similar storylines, and we've had diverging ones with the emergence of new organizations and new cores reaching new heights. It's been record-breaking across the board, and I'm sure tomorrow we'll only have more action that you're not going to want to miss. But to make sure that you're up to speed before that action, take one last look at all we saw today in this swift lower finals with the end-of-day Razor highlights.
back, biggie, yo. Baby, you back, biggie, yo. Turn it left, turn it right. Turn up and dance and you turn up, yeah. Let's turn it right. That's how you turn up and that's how you turn up, yeah. Back